The McKinney Lions started slow this season, going 0-3 in non-district. To make matters worse, their main offensive weapon, Chris Wimbish, went down with an ankle injury. The Lions have shown resiliency and pride to win 3 of 5 district games, and tonight they get Chris Wimbish back, and a win would keep their playoff dreams alive. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. And McKinney and Frisco, this is a crucial District 9 4A battle, and I think we're in for a pretty good one tonight, Brandon.
Yeah, if you look at the district standings, you talked about just the struggles that McKinney has had so far this year. There are 4 teams tied for second place at 3-2. 2 of them reside within the city of McKinney. Then there's Frisco, who McKinney has tonight, and Justin Northwest. Now, if you look at it, McKinney lost to McKinney North, but they beat Justin Northwest, and at the same time, they're playing Frisco tonight. So a win tonight, and they're in just a solid position for that last playoff push.
One of the main differences for McKinney since the last time we had a chance to broadcast their game is at quarterback. One of the last carries that we saw of that game when we were over at Justin Northwest was the carry that Zane Alcorn had and actually tore up his foot. And since then, Ryan Packard has come in at quarterback. Last week, 11 carries, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he also threw 9 times, completed 5 of them, and threw a touchdown and had 32 yards. So Ryan Packard has been a sophomore before his freshman and junior year, but now seems to have come in at the last minute and maybe trying to save this McKinney rally for the playoffs.
Well, we had an interesting conversation during the pregame show, by which case you asked some of the offensive players just what their quote-unquote leader of that offense is, and within a week and a half or so, they've already named him as one of their leaders, which is, just the fact that he's done that in a short time. I mean, it helps he plays quarterback, but still you'd think they'd name some guy like Wimbish or something. But, Alcorn went down, and so they've given Ryan Packard the leadership role, and that's just not something you're given. You earn it.
Speaking of Chris Wimbish, he is back, and if you're a McKinney Lion fan, that's huge news. He actually came back last week in the second half and carried the ball 11 times for 77 yards. And Chris Wimbish, he told us yesterday when we went and talked to him that he's about 90%. You'll hear that on the Senior Spotlight coming up in just a few moments. Teddy Sappho is down on the sidelines. Actually, he's not on the sidelines. He's in the middle of the field at Frisco Memorial Stadium. And, Teddy, talk about this field and talk about the weather tonight.
Well, actually, this field, if you guys do remember, about a few years ago, about 5 years ago, the stadium did get a facelift. They put about $10 million into it. And, of course, part of that $10 million was allocated into a brand-new press box. And the stadium it's really nice. They added a nice facelift to it. Of course, we have the Astro Play surface. But also one thing I also want to point out was that most of the games we've done this season, we've only been at football-only facilities. But this facility is actually a multi-use facility. There's actually a track around it. There's a long jump pit. And that's one of the things we have not been seeing lately. But also, too, as well, of course, you guys know that Chris Wimbish is back. Last week in his first game, he did have 11 carries for 77 yards. But if you're thinking about Chris Wimbish, you're thinking, well, he only got 11 carries. You expect him to touch the ball a lot more. So I did talk to Coach McVay about that. He did say, well, first off, it depends on the offense, because he said that when he was out, it forced the team to be a lot more balanced or throwing the ball a lot more. And if you guys also remember that last year's game, they won 7-3 on the last second touchdown with 8 seconds left in the game on the Chris Wimbish run, which was a toss sweep to the left, and he cut it back inside. So I said, well, okay, well, Coach McVay, what are you going to do differently in this year's game? And he said, well, both teams played really tough in last year's game, but this year is different. Since both teams are 3-2 and both are fighting for playoff lives, he said, well, whichever team makes the least amount of mistakes, we'll walk out tonight as a winner.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho. And I think, Coach McVay is right. And talking about last year's football game, what a tremendous game that was between McKinney and Frisco. That was at McKinney ISD Stadium. We were fortunate enough to be there and broadcast that game as McKinney basically trailed the entire game until the last 8 seconds, and Chris Wimbish got that toss left, cut it back inside, and that's the first lead and the only lead they needed for the night. But, it was a big play. If I remember right, it was Gary Kiefer, the quarterback, who hit Chris Zilmer in the 2-minute offense with only really about 50 seconds on the clock. Zilmer was able to get out of bounds, stop the clock, and that led Wimbish down the field.
Well, if you look at it, the game was played in McKinney, so that's in McKinney's favor right there. But you look at the stat sheet, Frisco did everything but win the game. They had more first downs. They had more rushing yards, more passing yards. They had a better punting average. They had fewer penalties and had fewer turnovers. The only thing that mattered, though, is they couldn't score anything more than 3 points. And McKinney did what they had to do, put together a final drive. And in a 3-0 game, you got to depend on your defense, and Frisco's defense just didn't get it done. Maybe things are different if they play in Frisco, which is where we are tonight. So you can bet that there's going to be a revenge factor on the minds of Frisco, the players who played last year, who remember that game, because that's just not something you forget.
Well, in a beautiful stadium at Frisco Memorial Stadium, we will have Frisco and McKinney coming up next. You'll have the Senior Spotlight actually coming out right after this break on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back on a Halloween edition to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, and our inside guy up here is going to spot for us tonight.
Yeah, at least this time we're closer to Halloween with the Halloween return music. When you're over a week, it just doesn't work.
Well, when they start playing Boogeyman and things like that, you know Halloween's upon us, even though it is several days away. But our last broadcast to be able to do some fun stuff like that.
Over under on how many times we're going to hear Monster Mash tonight?
Yeah, probably several times. Let's talk about this football game a little bit. I think we were talking about some keys earlier on. Tell us about those for McKinney to win tonight.
Well, first, you look at Frisco's offense, and their quarterback, he's got decent numbers. He comes into the game passing 125 of 233. You think, yeah, that's pretty good numbers. 12 touchdowns and 10 interceptions for 1,442 yards. However, close to half his passes have gone to one guy, and that's Antoine Davis. He has 43 receptions. Think about that for a minute. 43 receptions coming from the high school level. It's just pretty much unheard of. Guys who I've done games in the DISD where a guy went over to play for Miami as a receiver who caught 20 passes in 1 year, and he was a D1 recruit. So just the fact that you look at Antoine Davis's 43 receptions, that's got to be key number one. If you can stop him, you're going to limit this Frisco offense somewhat just because he's one of their main guys. Also, you look at the junior tailback, Brogan Funderburg. That's going to be a fun name to say throughout the night. That's a guy you're going to have to stop, too. He comes in with 490 yards rushing on only 97 carries, but of those 97 carries, 9 have gone for touchdowns. So almost 1/10 of his carries have propelled him into the end zone. This is a predominantly passing offense, but once they get inside the red zone, they're going to have Funderburg. So first you have to stop Antoine Davis, but if you can't do that, once they get in the red zone, he's not as effective. He only has 2 touchdowns. That's because they depend on Funderburg. If you can stop him, you're going to be okay. And then the second, you've got to get third, you have to get Ryan Packard into the game on the offensive side. If you can get him feeling comfortable at quarterback, things are going to happen. He's got the highest completion percentage of the 3 quarterbacks, and Chris Wimbish, who's thrown 1 pass. He's got the highest percentage at 56%, followed by Zane Alcorn's 54%. If he get comfortable, and Chris Wimbish is going to have a big day, you figure Wimbish is going to get his yards, but if Packard gets comfortable, the offense will run. So there's your 3 keys to the game.
Talking about Frisco a little bit, their history, they have not made the playoffs going back to since they were in 3A and back since they were not the Raccoons. They were something a slang term of the Raccoons, but
back in a lot of controversy.
Back in 1999 in Class 3A, they went Division I by district and defeated Lake Dallas 21-20. They lost to Aledo that year, 17-10. They've only made the playoffs 6 times, going all the way back to 1986. So not a deep tradition in the playoff history here in Frisco, but one that they would like to get back in stride with.
Well, as also before Frisco started becoming the upper-class suburb that it is today, that was when it was more of the farming community. So you can bet as more money moves into this area, this is going to become a program that's going to start to have a little bit more success as more money gets funneled into the school district, which then in turn comes to the football team.
But the only thing with that is they're facing the same circumstances McKinney is starting to face now with opening new schools, and sometimes your talent gets separated a little bit, which is going on with McKinney and McKinney North right now.
Just do what they do in the West Texas towns that I'm from. Put all your good football players in one school, you get basketball players in the other, and everybody's happy.
I don't know that everyone would be happy, but some football coaches would, at least one.
Yeah.
Well, it's McKinney and Frisco tonight, and Teddy Saffo down on the sideline. He's going to have the coin toss for a moment, but right now we're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with more McKinney ISD football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms along with Teddy Sappho and Monster Mash on the way back on that one. It's going to be fun tonight.
Well, I keep stats for the game, but I'm going to keep stats of how many times that's played. So we've already got one stat recorded for tonight's game already.
The McKinney Lions are in the end zone warming up. They come out in their white road jersey tonight with the gold stripe underneath their arms that actually attaches to the pants and the uniforms and kind of spiral out kind of like the Denver Broncos. And they come out in their Michigan M on their helmet with the, of course, everybody knows the navy blue helmet with the blue numerals and the yellow or the gold actually that outlines the numbers.
Meanwhile, Frisco comes out in their home blues, blue pants with the stripe on the side of it and the blue jerseys with the white numerals. They're filing their way out of their locker room now, getting ready to go to their raccoon inflatable while McKinney's huddled in their football inflatable helmet. And we're about ready to go. Let me take this time now to let's look at the what else is going on in District 9 4A. Let's get the district standings out of the way. Louisville Hebron, 5-0 in district. That's pretty much a guaranteed in for them. I don't think there's any way they can't make the playoffs. But here's where it gets interesting. A four-way tie for second, Justin Northwest at 3-2, along with McKinney North, Frisco, and McKinney. And then Lake Dallas at 2-3, and then Frisco, Centennial, and Keller Central are out. Hebron tonight is going to play Justin Northwest, and that'll be at Northwest. And McKinney North will be hosting Keller Central, and then Lake Dallas will be hosting Frisco Centennial.
The McKinney Lions have just come through their big helmet that they blow up, and they just ran out on their sideline. So we're awaiting the Frisco Raccoons, and we're trying to read that sign.
Scare the Lions.
Scare the Lions. You know, that's a sign that you used to see in like 8th grade. I don't want to put down the Frisco Raccoons cheerleaders or anything, but that's pretty bad.
Well, that's what our school had. We had really goofy signs like that. Arlington ISD does the same thing.
We were wondering what happened to Ronnie Mullins, the head coach last year of the Frisco Raccoons. Well, he actually showed up in the press box as we were arriving tonight, and I asked him, where did you go? Because I've been trying to find out where he went. I couldn't find his name on any team, and he's actually the assistant athletic director here now. So he gets the call back up to the, I guess he goes into the administration part of it. Talking about the head coach, they have the new head coach is Vance Gibson. He's 52 years old. They had 90 applicants for the job, and he's actually the one who got the job. And we'll talk more about that in a moment as Teddy Sappho is going out to the center stripe to get the coin toss. And Teddy, take it away down there. Okay, as you heard, thanks Teddy Sappho, you heard McKinney won the toss. It was J.D. Dowling who called tails. It actually did land tails, and J.D. Dowling and the McKinney Lions elect to defer to the second half, and that means that they will be moving right to left, and Frisco will be moving left to right, going, I guess that's east over there, Brandon.
Yeah, this is an odd-centered stadium because normally they run north-south to keep the sun out of the eyes of the players. However, this one runs east-west, which usually doesn't matter once you get into the fall portion of the schedule. But those September months, boy, the team that has to face the sun's at a decided disadvantage. And normally, more often than not, you're going to have your visitor side facing west, so that way they can get the sun in their eyes. It's just generally how it's done. But not here, as it runs east-west.
Last week, another one of the stories, not only Ryan Packard coming in at quarterback, but also the kicker situation with Kleinenberg. A missed field goal, very unfortunate for Kleinenberg. Here comes the Frisco Lions as we speak about the kickers. Frisco Raccoons, sorry. We talking about the kicker. In warm-ups, we saw Jared Thompson kicking it dinosaur style, the old toe puncher. And we also saw William Olds-Benton back there, the lefty, who did a little kicking last week, actually kicked an extra point. And we did not see Patrick Kleinenberg in warm-ups anyway trying field goals or extra points. It was those two guys, and we'll see who comes out tonight for the first extra point.
Well, don't be surprised, though. Kleinenberg's probably going to be the kickoff man because that's what he was practicing. He's got the leg. It's just his accuracy has been in question.
We are just about ready for the national anthem. We'll take a quick timeout and be back in a moment with more McKinney ISD football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. And are you keeping track of the bumpers over there, Brandon?
Yeah, we came out with the Munsters theme just now. We got Monster Mash. I didn't catch it one before. I'm only going to keep track of the more obvious ones because this is the fun of it.
I just can't wait for this game to get going so we can talk about Chris Wimbish instead of the Munsters and the Adams family.
You got to love the long pregame. At least it's not homecoming. And they did seniors night before the game, so we don't have to sit through an exorbitantly long halftime like we've had to at Hebron, yeah.
Well, Frisco will bring their kicking unit out on the field as their return unit, as McKinney will kick off, and it is Patrick Kleinenberg teeing it up at the 40-yard line. So back deep for Frisco is LaRon Walker and also Terrence Brown back deep standing at their own 5-yard line. Again, Frisco going to be moving left to right. If you're listening along on the radio dial, Patrick Kleinenberg getting his team pumped up on the 40-yard line as they just about prepare to kick this one off here at Frisco Memorial Stadium in a $10 million press box, and we love that.
Patrick Kleinenberg, a 5'7", 130-pound senior, wears number 12 and stands about 7 yards off for the Beef O'Brady's kickoff.
And the Beef O'Brady's kickoff is it's a low pooch kick. It's going to be taken at the 33-yard line by Funderburg, and he crosses a 40 and is out to the 43-yard line, and that's where they'll mark the ball on the initial spot.
Well, Frisco did their homework, and they know that McKinney likes to do that pooch kick a lot, so they put one of their best ball handlers on the midline there instead of one of their just general upbacks. And Funderburg broke through and almost had a big return, steady returner for about 12.
Kel Presley, the quarterback, will send two receivers to either side. Antoine Davis split out far right, and Funderburg stands to his right in the backfield. Presley is in shotgun formation. He's going to hand off to Funderburg, running left guard. He is met and stopped immediately, and on the tackle is J.D. Dowling, who comes up after only about a 1-yard gain. Dowling comes up and makes the pop.
Well, he's done that all year. He's one of their senior linebackers, and the Funderburg is basically a simple between guard and tackle play to the left side, but Dowling read that perfectly, charged up the hole, and stopped Funderburg for one gain.
2nd down and 9, just underway, 11:29 on the clock, no score yet. Presley goes back in shotgun formation once again. Funderburg stands to his right, 2-man to either side. Ball is at the 43-yard line. Going to hand off Funderburg up the middle, big hole, out to the 45 and down to the 42-yard line in McKinney territory. Enough for the first down. And on the stop is Cates Keith, the safety, came in with 24 tackles. Also Eddie Morgan there to make the stop and help bring him down.
Well, they're a predominantly draw play team, and what that was a passing team. What that was a simple draw play, and then caught McKinney in a pass defense situation, pedaling backwards.
First down and 10 at the 43-yard line in McKinney territory. 3 receivers now to the right side. They're going to bring everybody over, even Funderburg in the backfield. Presley looks the other side, and he's got a man. It's caught for about a 5-yard gain, and on the catch is Leroy Walker, and on the stop is Adam Fairborn. Fairborn came in with 10 solo tackles. We need to give you the McKinney starting defense, and we'll do it after this 2nd down play. So LaRon Walker, actually the receiver on that play there. And from the 38-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 6. Presley sends 3 men to the right again, and he's going to hand off Funderburg to the left side, cuts it back inside, has the 30 down inside the 30 to the 27-yard line, and Eddie Morgan comes up, makes the stop. Here's your McKinney Lions starting defense. First down and 10. For the Frisco Raccoons, it's going to be a handoff once again to Funderburg, who tries to get the line of scrimmage and does, and maybe picks up a yard or so out to the 20, just outside the 25-yard line, and Justin Philby comes up and makes the stop, 2nd down.
Starting lineup for the Frisco offense looked like this. Starting on the line, left tackle Sean Riken, left guard Brock Chandler, Daniel Hales the center, Chase Poe the right guard, Laren Hayes is your right tackle, and we'll get the skill positions after this play.
2nd down and about 8. 3 men go wide out left. 1 in the slot to the near side is LaRon Walker. Funderburg stands to the right of Presley. Presley wants the snap, gets it. He's going to tuck it and run up the middle, and he is met immediately and somehow surges forward. Now a late flag comes in. The ball rests at the 22-yard line. Adam Fairborn is the man who finally brought him down, but Presley surged in and made a nice gain out of nothing. Presley actually on the season came in with 99 carries, 118 yards, and 6 touchdowns. However, last week he had a lot more than that, but last week he had minus 32 yards against Hebron.
Well, I didn't see the call, but the penalty is against McKinney. Real quickly, here's what the skill positions look for. Personal foul on McKinney. Kel Presley, the senior quarterback in the backfield. Brogan Funderburg is the lone tailback. Receivers look like this: Antoine Davis, number 3, Danzel Brown, number 11, Jackson Anderson, and Evan Coachman round out your receivers.
The ball will now be placed at the 11-yard line after the infraction against McKinney. So first down and 10 with 9:09 left to go in the first quarter. No score yet. Presley back in shotgun formation. He's going to hand off. Funderburg running right side this time. Has a big hole and has the touchdown for Frisco. So Frisco strikes first blood with an 11-yard touchdown off right guard for Brogan Funderburg.
Yeah, well blocked up front by that Frisco Raccoon offensive line. Funderburg wasn't touched until he crossed inside the 5-yard line, and if you get a guy like that untouched to that point, generally it's going to be a touchdown.
Frisco will drop back in the PAT formation, and on for the PAT is Evan Coachman. And the snap is back. It's on the tee. It's good. It's up. It's very high, and the kick is good. So 7-0 with 8:59 left to go here in the first quarter. The Frisco Raccoons take the first lead back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Memorial Stadium, Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and company, and Frisco takes the first lead tonight, 7-0 on an 11-yard touchdown by Funderburg. It was a 3-minute and 1-second drive, which was 6 plays and 57 yards. As we get ready for the Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and it is going to be a low line drive kick that's going to bounce, actually, and McKinney Lions have to go chasing after it, and that's Eddie Morgan, I believe. He makes one cut, makes another cut, and goes down inside the 5-yard line. Eddie Morgan, first of all, he took a bad read on the ball as it took a bounce, and he had to go running for it. As he picked it up about the 3-yard line, he made a cut to the right, nobody there. So he made a cut to the left, and some other guys were there, so he actually slipped and fell down.
Well, a couple of things wrong. Generally, on a return, you never let the ball bounce at your feet because you never know where it's going to go. You want to give it some space so you can react. And the second thing is it was rolling toward the end zone, and it still had momentum, it looked like, when he picked it up at the 1, and therefore he had to return it out or risk the safety.
96 yards away from pay dirt are the McKinney Lions, and they will send everybody out. Jeff Fuller to the near side, 3 men to the far side. Split wide. Chris Wimbish, I believe, is in the backfield, and he is. He's going to hand off to him, who jances a little bit out to the right side. The flag is down as he actually goes down at about the 10, and it'll be Ryan Sickler on the stop for Frisco. We'll check the flag.
Well, the good news is it looks like it's going to be a holding on McKinney, and it is, but when you're at your own 4-yard line, it's only going to be a 2-yard penalty.
Well, it will be, I guess, first down and 12 now, or they could even decline that. Well, they got the ball out. Yeah, the ball out was out to the 10-yard line. So it'll be first down and about 12 from the 2-yard line. So Wimbish is the lone setback. 3 receivers out right side, and in the backfield, Ryan Packard in at quarterback in shotgun formation. He's going to fake the hand. He's going to run up the middle. Lots of traffic, and he's actually in trouble inside the end zone and somehow escapes. He was on all fours, actually, and somehow pedaled his way out of the end zone. It was Roland Gedich and Gerardo Martinez on the stop for Frisco.
Well, that would have been a big loss there if Packard hadn't been able to keep his balance, and he had to put 2 feet and a hand down just to stay upright, and was able to lunge just to get that extra yard to get out of the end zones. But now they're facing a 2nd and 13 at the 1-yard line. Not a lot of margin of error here for the McKinney offense.
8:14 left to go here in the first quarter, rather. This is another flag down at the line of scrimmage. It's a handoff up the middle, and going down immediately was the fullback, but Ryan Sickler makes a stop. Flags on the play. We'll have to check this. A very sloppy start for McKinney starting this football game tonight.
Well, they were throwing at the snap of the ball, which means a couple things, either offsides on the defense or an illegal formation shift on the offense. We'll wait and see as they're talking it over, and McKinney's clapping, so it looks like it's on Frisco.
Right after this play here, we'll give you the McKinney Lions starting offense. We failed to do that so far, so we'll do that right after this. 8:03 left to go here in the first quarter, 7-0. Frisco on top.
Well, Frisco helps out McKinney on this one as they were offside, so we had a 2nd and 13 at the 1. So now we're going to be looking at about a 2nd and 8. At least they'll cross the 5-yard line this time. And it'll be about face mask too. I saw an offside. I guess they declined that to go with the face. Well, then, it only makes sense because if it's that big a face mask, it'd be 15 yards. Oh, they're going to tag it on the end of the run is what they're doing. Okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Well, the ball will be spotted after all of that at the 8-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 7. And McKinney this time will send Dominic Sweeney out to the slot to the near side. Again, moving right to left is McKinney. Ryan Packard, the quarterback, wants the ball. He's going to hand off Wimbish. Running right tackle had a big hold for a moment and still drags about 5 or 6 Frisco Raccoons, enough for the first down. And on the stop is Gerardo Martinez and Jeremy Cotton. Move the sticks.
Nice job by the senior running back. He was tackled about 2-3 yards short, but somehow was able to escape that tackle. Looked like a solid tackle on the McKinney defense, or rather the Frisco defense's part. But Wimbish had enough power to get across, although it looks like they've got a penalty flag because they're not marking it just yet.
Well, it was a 9-yard run, and we'll check and see what's going on with the
McKinney's marching back.
And McKinney is huddled up back towards their own end zone here. It would have been a first down. And the officials are now saying,
well, it's a dead ball.
Dead ball, personal foul against McKinney, so bring the ball back.
So it should be a first down then at least.
Yeah, at least it will be a first down inside the 10-yard line at about the 8.5. So McKinney really not starting out really well here tonight. They're kind of shooting themselves in the foot starting out. They've been their worst enemy at times this year.
But it's a 1st and 10, so at least they were enough to get the first down first. But you got to keep your head in the game.
The ball will be spotted at the 8-yard line. Call it the 9, actually. Packard wants the ball in shotgun. He rolls out near side. Wants to throw. Has a man. Fuller makes the catch at the 20 and goes out of bounds at the 24-yard line. First down and no flag. On the stop out there on the for the cornerback is LaRon Walker, and also Chris Warnick comes over and makes a stop.
Nice job by Jeff on the pattern. Very well run to the sideline, but even more importantly, nice pass from Packard. Put it only where Fuller could catch it, and it was going to be an outstretched catch by Fuller. And that was just a nice job of running the pass offense there.
We still have failed to give you the McKinney line starting offense, and we'll do it after this play, I promise. Packard in shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the right side. 1 man in the backfield is Wimbish from the 25-yard line. He's going to hand off Wimbish, and he has nowhere to go. Bounces it out to the left side and is caught behind the line of scrimmage right at the 25-yard line. And once again on the tackle, Roland Gedich. 7:03, and I'll tell you what, let's give you the McKinney line starting offense. Zane Alcorn is not the quarterback. Ryan Packard is. I had a chance to talk to Alcorn yesterday, and he is not feeling real well with that foot. Here's Packard wanting to throw on the run. He has a man, and it's knocked away at the last second by the defensive back, and that is Denzel Brown, who knocked it away. He had Fuller wide open, but Brown wasn't there. But Brown was right there to knock it away at the last second.
Yeah, nice job there, but unfortunately for McKinney, it was just a bad pass from Packard. For everything he did right on the pass to Fuller moments ago, he did wrong there. It was another out pattern, but he didn't lead his receiver enough, and that allowed the defense to come underneath, and that's why the outs are one of the more dangerous patterns in all of football.
Michael Peters goes split out wide right. Zilmer in the slot. This is going to be a handoff up the middle. Chris Wimbish fighting through room and is busted at the 28. Skitterbugs away out to the 30-yard line. I couldn't get that one out. He was dancing so good there, and on the stop is Chris Warnick, but Chris Wimbish made a great cut right on the inside, bounced it out left, and it looks like Wimbish's ankle might be back to full speed, or very close anyway.
Yeah, good run there. It was a nice run for only 6 yards, but unfortunately they're going to come up just short. So we'll get the defense for you for Frisco out of the way real quick. Roland Gedich, Gerardo Martinez, Jeremy Cotton, and Bernard Bray make up the defensive line. The linebackers are just 2, Pierre LeBlanc and Adrian Hendricks. Your 2 cornerbacks, Chris Warnick, Terrence Brown. Ryan Sickler and Curtis Kazansky are the safeties, and LaRon Walker is the floater.
LaRon Walker goes back in punt-receive formation at his own 32. Ben Martinek kicks it towards him. It's going to go near the out-of-bounds marker, and it does at the 36-yard line. So a pretty decent punt by Ben Martinek with 5:34 left to go in the first. Frisco on top, 7-0.
A 37-yard punt by Martinek there will put the Coons the Raccoons. Well, that's going to be a tough habit to break. just outside their 30-yard line at the 31.
So we go from basically 131 to the other, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Frisco as they send one receiver out wide left, and that is Denzel Brown once again. Presley, the quarterback in shotgun formation, has Funderburg standing to his left. Funderburg's already scored an 11-yard touchdown tonight. That is our only score, 7-0 Frisco. This is going to be a handoff. Funderburg once again has the 30 and cuts it outside 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. Look out. Cates Keith trying to drag him down and does at the 31-yard line. So once again, we go from 131 to the other. And if it weren't for Cates Keith, it would have been 14-0 right now.
38-yard run off left tackle. Beautiful blocking setup. Funderburg wasn't touched until he was tackled. And when you have blocking like that, you know you're going to be in for a pretty productive day as a running back.
Checking out for McKinney is Mark Harmon and Derek Clary.
By the way, Funderburg already was 77 yards rushing.
3 receivers out to the far right side, including Davis, Antoine Davis. And Presley is going to hand off Funderburg once again. No, he's going to keep it this time. Tries to cut it inside, and Adam Fairborn brings him down immediately at the 31. So call it no gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 5:15 left to go in the first.
Well, better read by the defense there. They got fooled earlier on a draw play, which Funderburg was able to scamper for some yards. But this time, they're not fooled on a trick play in which Presley keeps it himself and only gains a yard.
2nd down and just about 9.5, they'll call it, right at the 30, just outside the 30-yard line. The nose of the football may be touching the stripe. 3 receivers to the far left. Look out for Antoine Davis right here. Presley stands at his own 30, or at the McKinney 36-yard line in shotgun formation. Gets it, looks left, wants to throw out there for Davis, and he has his inside receiver. It actually hits him right between the numbers and falls incomplete. On the coverage was Darian Royal, but on the reception, or the non-reception, was Antonio Denard. He was trying to hit Denard out there, and Denard on the season came in with 10 catches for 119 yards. Would have had 11 there if he had just held on to that one, hit him right between the 3 and the 9.
Well, he's a sophomore and playing in a game of this magnitude where the winner gets the inside track. Might have got him. That hit him right in the breadbasket. Perfect pass by Presley, and now they're facing a 3rd and 9.
Big play here, 3rd and 9. 4:34 left to go in the first. Everybody goes left except LaRon Walker, who split out wide right. And Presley is buried behind the line of scrimmage. Paul Wynn sacks him at the 38-yard line. A huge play there by the defensive line, finally showing penetration through that huge Frisco offensive line, and they come up with the big play.
Well, what they were trying to do is they had 3 receivers to the left at Frisco and 1 to the right. They did a pass fake to that left side, trying to get the defense to bite, but Paul had Kel Presley in his sights the whole time, and he wasn't going to back off of that. And by the time Presley even tried to turn around, Paul was on top of him. Just an outstanding play, big play.
So it'll be 4th down and punting time, and this will be the punter for Frisco, which will be Evan Coachman, who punts it back, and McKinney's going to get away from it. Eddie Morgan just kind of ran away from the ball as it bounced at about the 12-yard line, took a little Frisco hop down inside the 10 to about the 8. So with 3:43 left to go here in the first quarter, Frisco leading 7-0, but McKinney about to take their 2nd possession, starting at their own 8-yard line once again.
31-yard punt by Evan Coachman, who both the kicker and the punter for this team, so he's got a lot of experience putting the foot to the ball. A decent punt, drops it inside the 10, and once again, McKinney's having to play offense with the back against their own end zone.
3 receivers to the right side. Michael Peters split out far right. Jeff Fuller to the near side. Chris Wimbish in the backfield stands to the left side of Ryan Packard, who's in shotgun formation. Once the ball gets it, he's going to hand off to Chris Wimbish. Bounces outside, has a little bit of a lane, and cuts it outside once again. Is taken down at the 14-yard line. He had his legs taken out from under him, and it was Roland Gedich once again who makes the stop. And that Frisco front line has really played well so far. They really scraped to the ball for their defensive front, and it'll be a gain out to the 15-yard line, a 7 yards on that first down carry with 3:16 left to go in the first for Wimbish.
That was Wimbish's 5th carry on the night. He's already up to 22, so it looks like his ankle's holding up fine so far.
2nd down and 3. Everybody tight now, and this is going to be a handoff up the middle. No, Packard wants to throw. He rolls out right and overshoots his receiver out there, Brett Anderson, who came out of the backfield. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
That's the 3rd pass attempt of the game for Packard, and all have been rolling out. He's done his first pass, or rather his first pass was complete to Jeff Fuller out on the rolling to the left side, but then he had an incomplete going out to the right earlier.
Part of the reason for that would be Packard only 5'6", has some linemen up there, 6'3", and Chris Holler, and another twin brother, 6'3", and Kevin Holler. Kind of hard to see over that little line over there.
Makes you wonder if he also throws better on the run, too.
3 receivers to the near side. Michael Peters comes over to this side. Jeff Fuller goes to the right. Packard wants to run this time. Runs it up the middle. Has a little seam. Has enough for the first down out to the 27-yard line. So move the sticks there. On the stop is Ryan Sickler for Frisco.
That was a nice double-digit gain. Ball, the line of scrimmage at the 15, and he scoots it up to the 28. Well, do the math, a 13-yard gain, but more importantly, it's a first down.
And this is really the first time we've seen good field position or other than terrible field position for McKinney, as they really need to start winning that battle as well.
Well, they got the ball up to the 25 on their last drive before they couldn't convert on a first down. This one's up to the 28.
3 receivers to the near side. Packard in shotgun, gets it, he fakes the hand to Wimbish and wants to run. He runs to the left side, has a little seam, cuts it outside to the 40, and runs out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Running him out of bounds was LaRon Walker to the near side, and Packard had a little daylight.
Yeah, that's a 19-yard gain there, and he was smart to pull up because he had Frisco Blue all in front of him, and he wasn't going to be able to get maybe more than a yard or two if he had to lower his shoulder. But this is a guy you want to stay into the game just because of what he can do with his feet.
He did play quarterback his freshman and sophomore year, but moved over to the defensive side after that. 1st and 10 for McKinney. 2:26 left to go in the first quarter. Frisco on top, 7-0. Packard in at quarterback. Ball is at the 47-yard line, just shy of midfield. Wimbish gets the toss, cuts it out left side, and is in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, and actually somehow gets back to the line of scrimmage and may have gained a yard. It was Ryan Sickler and Chris Warnick for Frisco who come over and make the stop. It'll be 2nd down, and he did gain a yard, so 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, it looks like what's going to happen here is the Frisco defense is going to key on Wimbish and Wimbish alone because Packard has had 2 consecutive carries that have totaled 32 yards, whereas Wimbish has had a couple of big gainers, but nothing in the double-digit category as of yet. It looks like the Frisco defense is keying on him.
Maxwell, Sweeney, and Peters far right, and Jeff Fuller comes near side. Packard gets the toss, and he's going to actually run out right side, crosses the 45-40. He is quick, 35-30, trying to get the outside marker, and runs out of bounds at the 25. And I'm telling you what, Ryan Packard can scoot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of speed, and being a little guy, he's shifty as well. What he did was basically a quarterback keeper sprint out to the right side and just tucked it up, and because he's so fast, the hole is right there. He plugs it up immediately, and he's good to go. The 27-yard gain.
The ball will be placed at the 24-yard line, and a timeout has been called with 2:12 left to go. Frisco on top, 7-0. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Nothing scary on that pass from Ryan Packard to Jeff Fuller. It's good for about an 8-yard gain inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So Packard is on fire early on so far tonight.
Yeah, he's had a good drive. He's the offense has accumulated 3 first downs on this drive, and all have come from the feet of Packard, and he's now 2 of 4 passing with both receptions to Fuller.
Here's the 8th play of the drive. Packard trying to get everything going here, looking over to the near side, looking over to the far sideline to the coaches. He's in shotgun formation. 2 receivers to the right, 3 to the left. Throws over the swing pass out to Calvin Maxwell, who drops it. Have to check and make sure it's not a lateral, and it's not. Ball rolls out of bounds. It will be 3rd down now and about 3.
Well, 1 of 2 on 3rd down so far early here in the half. As we approach the end of the first quarter, it's going to be a 3rd and a long 3 for this offense, which has seen Packard run very well from the quarterback position. And if you're Frisco, I think that's what you're going to have to watch out for here.
Jeff Fuller will go split out wide right. Peters, Dominic Sweeney, and Calvin Maxwell to the near side. Chris Wimbish now moves to the right side of Ryan Packard in shotgun formation. Ball at the 18-yard line. Third down. Packard rolling out right side. Cuts it back inside. Close to the first down. Runs laterally. Now cuts it up 5. Inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. A great run by Ryan Packard up the middle. If it weren't for Chris Warnick, he would have had a touchdown. But Packard, they're actually going to mark him at the 3-yard line. His knee touched at the 3. Calvin Maxwell will check out. And what a run that was.
Yeah, it was set up to be just a quarterback rollout to the right side, but he saw a seam to the left, cut it up, and was almost toward the end zone before losing his balance.
Offset eye, too tight set. Packard under center is going to hand off. Chris Wimbish running right side, cuts it back inside and down at the 3-yard line. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage and maybe gained an inch or so. But it'll be second down and goal as Adrian Hendricks comes up and makes the stop from Frisco.
Being a fan of the defense, I got to like the way Frisco just pursues to the ball. Wherever Wimbish goes, there's somebody there. And same thing for Packard. Packard was able to be shifting. If you wonder if some of that ankle problems that Wimbish has had in his injury is causing him not to be as shifty and making cuts, trying to get to the end zone.
Full house backfield, double tight set. Got to come away with a touchdown here inside the 5-yard line. Second down, Packard on the roll, wants to throw in the end zone and is sacked all the way back to the 12, 13, possibly the 14-yard line. And on the sack for McKinney is Adrian Hendricks once again, and they will actually spot the ball at the 13, and that's a huge play for that Frisco defense.
Yeah, that's a 10-yard loss, but boy, they really dodged the bullet because Chris Hilmer all alone in the back of the end zone, but Packard just couldn't get his body turned around because he was at the middle of the end zone, whereas Packard was rolling out left side, but there was nobody near Zilmer.
Clock rolling inside of 30 seconds now here in the first quarter. Frisco on top 7-0. It is third down and goal now from the Frisco 12-yard line. McKinney trying to punch it in here. And Packard gets the snap, rolls out right side, wants to throw it. It's going to be incomplete for Jeff Fuller at the 6-yard line. The clock will stop with 15 seconds, and we'll see who comes in to boot this field goal, as it will be about a 30-yarder, maybe just inside, maybe about a 29. And on for the
Kleinenberg.
It is Kleinenberg coming on to kick here. So the ball at the line of scrimmage is actually the 12-yard line. And Kleinenberg will try this 29-yard field goal.
This is huge here.
15 seconds on the first quarter clock. The snap is back. It's on the tee. Kleinenberg's kick is very high, and it is good. So Kleinenberg nails it for the first time this year. It's his first field goal of 2005, and it comes at a good time. McKinney trails 7-3 here at Frisco Memorial Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.
Welcome back to Frisco ISD Memorial Stadium. McKinney gets on the scoreboard thanks to a 29-yard field goal from Patrick Kleinenberg, and with 10.5 seconds left in the first quarter, Frisco has a 7-3 lead over McKinney. I'm Brendan Helms, Monty Walker with you in Frisco. A big game as both teams here tonight play with a 3-2 district record. Here comes the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. Kleinenberg pooch kick over to the left side, bounces at the 25, rolling out of bounds, and Frisco Smart lets it roll out of bounds, and out comes the yellow hanky.
Well, it was a 13-play drive for McKinney, which is huge. McKinney with, that may be the longest drive of the year, which was 85 yards. It took 3 minutes and 33 seconds off the clock, and it was capped off there by that 29-yard field goal by Patrick Kleinenberg, his first of the year.
Well, thanks to the kick out of bounds, it's now 4 penalties, 28 yards, and that's the first official penalty that's gone either in the 5-yard increments. They've had an 11-yard personal foul, or rather 9-yard personal foul, a 3-yard half the distance to the goal, and then an 8-yard penalty on the holding. So this is the first penalty that's gone in the increment of 5.
Well, we talked to Larry Lindsay on Wednesday night, and he said he would love to have about 4 or 5 kicks out of bounds every time, so we'd mentioned Beef O'Brady's. Well, this will be our second Beef O'Brady's kick once again. Last week we had about 3 that went out of bounds in a row, and Kleinenberg's kick is up in the air. This one's pretty high. It's going to be taken by LaRon Walker at the 11-yard line, looking right side. Now cuts it up the middle, has a 25-30, big hole, 35-40.
one man to beat, and I think he beat him 35-30, 25-20, 15, and Frisco has scored again. LaRon Walker goes 89 yards and runs out this first quarter clock. Right now we stand 13-3 awaiting the PAT here with no time remaining in the first. They'll go ahead and kick the PAT.
I hate to be pessimistic here, but I thought James Harvey, or rather not James Harvey, Reed Akins was blocked in the back by James Harvey. But if it wasn't, it was awful close. And it looks like they're going to let him play, which is disappointing, but that's what you like to see as a
Well, the PAT is blocked. It was blocked right up the middle. I believe Justin Philpy might have got his hand on it. So for the time being, it'll be 13-3. The kick by Evan Coachman is blocked, and we'll be right back with more McKinney ISD football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. All right, that's the second time we've heard that one. I know we've got more music than that. It's the second quarter, 13-3. Frisco on top. McKinney awaiting to return this Beef O'Brady's kickoff as LaRon Walker just scampered 89 yards on the kickoff return. And it took exactly 10 seconds off the clock. So you want to know what LaRon Walker runs in the 89? He runs a 10-second flat. So the receiver Coachman will actually boot this Beef O'Brady's kickoff. It'll be high and deep. It'll bounce at the 6-yard line and go out of bounds. So another flag on the play and another Beef O'Brady's kickoff coming up.
Well, let's take it down to Teddy Saffo on the sidelines, who got a clear view of that extra point, and he's got something that contradicts what we said up here in the booth. Teddy?
Actually, that extra point, well, the kicker didn't even get enough leg underneath that ball because the kicker, once he kicked it, he knew that the ball didn't even go up, so he walked away with his hands on top of his head. But apparently, also the special teams of McKinney, they were obviously pretty disappointed in allowing that long kickoff return, negating the momentum that they had after scoring the extra point. But we'll see what they do on this ensuing kickoff, you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Saffo. 13-3, Frisco in the lead over McKinney here as Coachman will try to tee up this Beef O'Brady's kickoff once again.
Going back to the return music real quick. Second time Mash is playing. I think he's just doing it to goof with us.
Yeah,
I bet it's going to be every other return now just because we said it earlier.
Well, speaking of returns, McKinney needs a good one here as they send Eddie Morgan back deep along with Corbin Lewis. And Coachman's kick is going to go towards Eddie Morgan, who's going to take it right at the 10-yard line. Moving left to right now, crosses the 20, 25. He has a seam out to the 35 and knocked down at the 38-yard line, and that's where McKinney will start in their own territory.
Well, that's the best starting field position. McKinney has twice started an offensive possession inside the 10, one down at the 4. This time it's going to be across the 35 out to the 38. 38.
There is a flag down just shy of midfield. And we'll check and see what that is, and it is a personal foul against McKinney once again. So McKinney really shooting themselves in the foot tonight. So instead of starting at the 38, they should be starting around the 23 or so.
That's already 5 penalties, and now it takes back what I just said about the good starting field position.
They started their first drive at their own 4, and they had a penalty which actually marked them back at the 2. Packard took a loss all the way back to the 1. And then their second possession, they started at the 8, and that's where they actually had a nice drive of 13 plays and 85 yards. But this one right here, they're going to start at their own 23-yard line, which actually is their best, but it could have been the 38. 11:53 left to go in the second quarter. Frisco on top, 13-3. McKinney desperately needs to win this football game. I formation, offset I. Peters goes in motion to the left. This is going to be a toss left side. Wimbish. We're familiar with this one. He steps for a little bit and steps down, and that may have cost him. He actually looked like his ankle might have given for a second, but he was able to regain his balance and maybe gains about a foot or so. It'll be second down and about 9.
Sweep left side, and again, the Frisco defense is really hot in pursuit. Not a lot of running space, even with the 2 blockers in front of Wimbish. And he did all he could, even with the slip, to get a yard. And now we're looking at a 2nd and 9.
11:21 and rolling here in the second quarter. 3 receivers come near side. Michael Peters, Chris Zilmer, And I believe that's Maxwell in the slot. Wimbish moves to the right side of Ryan Packard, who's in shotgun formation. 2nd down and 9. Packard wants to keep it right side, has a blocker, gets a pretty good block. Then he has to cut it back inside, and that's where he finds a lane. 30, look out, 35, 40, and then he runs into trouble at the 39-yard line. Good enough for a first down, but on the stop is Terrence Brown, the cornerback, comes up, and Ryan Packard actually makes that first down himself. He was rolling out to the right side, trying to find that block over here by Kevin Haller, and Haller had a nice block, but his defender was able to get away from him a little bit. I believe it was Bernard Bray over there on the near side, and Packard just simply turned around and went the other way, and that's where he found the seam.
Well, Haller did his job, but the defender did his too by getting a shoulder to the outside and keeping contained. But unfortunately, Frisco, they over-pursued.
16-yard gain for Packard. He wants to throw this time, throws it downfield. Jeff Fuller is there. There might have been a little bumping and grinding going on down there. Nobody throws a flag, and they'll just call it incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line.
Just a good call. Both were going for the ball. Fuller tried to go over the defender's back while the defender was looking at the ball. Fuller looking at the ball. Good non-call, but brings up 2nd and 10. That's also somewhat of a concern. Ryan Packard on 2 of 7 passing.
In the slot for McKinney, a new face, and that will be Philip Sears, the sophomore just brought up. He is in the slot to the right side. Zilmer stands to his right. Michael Peters caps it to the far side. Jeff Fuller split out wide left. Ryan Packard in shotgun formation is going to hand off. Chris Wimbish running left side, and he is gang tackled, but somehow surges forward for some more yardage out to the 44-yard line, and on the stop, Adrian Hendricks for Frisco.
Well, that's one of the things Wimbish does best is his ability to move the ball after contact, and it's a clear example of it right there as he's able to surge out just shy of the 44 for a gain of about 3.5. And they're going to need him to keep doing that because he's not getting a lot of room. This Frisco defense is really keying on him.
Well, McKinney has to convert here. You would think they really need a big conversion on this 3rd down and 7, maybe a long 6. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers to either side this time. 2-step drop for Ryan Packard, now runs near side, wants to run. 40, trying to find the corner, 45, 50. He may have the first down. He is out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And I believe he has the first down and does. What a run by Ryan Packard. A heads-up play just to keep rolling out. He didn't find anybody and just kept it.
Well, I give a lot of credit there to Peters as well. Michael Peters out in the formation, the receiving pattern, and turns around and gets a key block that springs Packard for the first.
First down and 10 after a tremendous conversion there by Ryan Packard. He will send this time Michael Peters split out wide to the left, along with 2 others. Jeff Fuller comes at the near side. Shotgun formation. He gets it. He's going to hand off Wimbish up the middle, bouncing it out outside, and then cuts it up inside and gains about 3 or 4 yards. And I'll tell you what, Wimbish can look really bad and gain 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and he's been consistently doing that tonight. Also, at the same time, he can look really bad, and it looks like he's bound to be tackled in the backfield for a loss, but somehow managed to surge forward for a gain. That was his 10th carry. He gained 3, so he's got 33 yards. Now, not a great average, but again, Frisco's defense seems to be really keying on him. It's going to be up to the elusiveness of Ryan Packard, a quarterback that looks to move this offense.
Ryan Packard has been a great changeup tonight, running the football at the quarterback slot. This time he's going to roll out left side on the run, wants to throw, is in trouble, and is dropped in the backfield all the way back to the 47-yard line. So Packard is hit by Adrian Hendricks, who we've called all night so far with 8:52 left to go in the second quarter. Frisco on top 13-3, and Hendricks has been in a lot of stops.
Well, that's his 2nd sack of Packard. The first one came at the goal-to-go situation on 2nd down that really put McKinney in a pickle. And this one is about a loss of about 8 on the play.
An 8-yard loss takes them all the way back to the 46 in Frisco territory. And now Corbin Lewis in at the tailback position. Stands to the left side of Ryan Packard, and he's going to get the carry. And Corbin Lewis actually is Ryan Packard kept it. 25-20, cuts it inside 15, 10, 5, and it is touchdown time in Texas. Ryan Packard fooled everybody, including myself, with the fake handoff to Corbin Lewis, kept it around the far sideline, found that corner, and strolled into the end zone, 46 yards on the score.
Yeah, basically a simple decoy, and at first it was a really good fake, but then Packard sprinted out almost too easily. But again, it looks like this Frisco defense is keying on the tailback, and you at some point, if you're the defensive coordinator for the Raccoons, you got to say, hey, maybe we should watch what number 6 does.
Especially when Corbin Lewis is in, or I should say when Chris Wimbish is not in the game, you'd think you really have to focus on Ryan Packard. Here is the extra point, and it is blocked. And that now leaves our score 13-9 with 8:08 left to go here in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Saffo. We have 8:08 left to go in the second quarter. McKinney just got on the board there with a 46-yard touchdown run by Ryan Packard. It was an 8-play, 67-yard drive. Took 3 minutes and 52 seconds off the clock. And it brings our new score to 13-9. Frisco on top, and we're awaiting the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. And Patrick Kleinenberg, who had the PAT blocked, will kick a high pooch kick. It's going to land out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So Larry Lindsey's getting his money's worth tonight with these Beef O'Brady's kickoffs, and we'll have another one coming up momentarily.
And that one was, I can understand if you're trying to pooch kick it at the numbers and it takes a sideways bounce, but that one landed out of bounds. That's now the 6th penalty for McKinney for 48 yards. Luckily, 2 of the penalties have come on the kickoff, but remember the last time they did a kickoff, the first one went out of bounds and they kicked it deep to LaRon Walker, and he returned it 89. And a score.
We'll try to get some scores for you from the, I think we'll try to call the McKinney press box and see what we can get up there.
Well, last score we had was about near the end of the first. North had a 14-3 lead over Keller Central.
Here's the Patrick Kleinenberg. Beef O'Brady's kickoff is going to be taken at the 26-yard line by a Frisco Raccoon who makes his way all the way up to the 35. And on the return for Frisco was Denzel Brown.
Yeah, and it was a real dangerous situation for Frisco because he was the up back and they had one of the deep returners coming up behind him, bumped him in the back, and they were both still fighting for the ball.
Some scores to pass along that we had earlier. McKinney North was on top of Keller Central 14-3 early on, and Denison had the lead 7-0 over Ryder. That's for a share of the district championship in Denison. Also Sherman leading 7-6. Early on in that one over in Burke Burnett. 3 receivers to the right side. Presley throws it near side, has his man. It's caught at the 40, out of bounds at the 42-yard line is Antoine Brown, and Darian Royal comes over and makes the stop.
That's the first catch.
Antoine Davis, sorry.
I was just about to correct you there, but you got it yourself. Antoine Davis with his first catch, and it goes for a gain of a short 8, if you will, and it brings up a very favorable 2nd and short.
7:35 left to go on the second quarter clock. 3 receivers wide to the right this time, and Presley's going to throw over there. He has his man. It's caught once again at the 40. Makes his way up for a first down near midfield, and he's going to be stopped right at the midfield stripe. And on the stop is a host of Lions, including Preston Turner, who comes over there at that cornerback spot because of Ryan Packard playing a little bit of quarterback tonight. So it'll be a first down for Frisco. Apparently there must be a flag on the play. The officials are talking over there on that far sideline, and actually I think they're talking to Presley, so that's not good news for the Lions fan. The officials are out of the Dallas chapter tonight. Michael Woodard, the referee, the umpire, Dickie Dunn, the head linesman, Jackie Rockenstein, and that's a Halloween name for you, the line judge, David Tucker, and the back judge, Jerome Berglund. So it'll be a holding call against Frisco, which will back them up a little bit. With 7:21 left to go here in the second quarter. Frisco on top 13-9. Frisco's touchdown, their initial touchdown, came on an 11-yard run by Funderburg, and that made it 7-0. And then McKinney came back on their second possession with a 29-yard field goal by Patrick Kleinenberg, which cut the lead 7-3. And on the ensuing kickoff, LaRon Walker for Frisco ran it back 89 yards for the touchdown on the kickoff. That made the score 13-3 after the blocked PAT, and a personal foul now will go against Frisco as well. So back them up way back in their own territory. to recap, round out the scoring here just a moment ago, 13-9 is our new score because of Ryan Packard and his 46-yard touchdown. Another blocked PAT. So we've had 2 blocked PATs, one on each team tonight.
Well, and since it happened during the play and not afterwards, it's going to negate the potential first down. Still going to be second down, but along 21, which with the explosiveness of this Frisco offense isn't going to pose that big a hurdle as it could be. They only need to get about 2 10-yard passes and they're in business. So it's going to be up to the McKinney defense to hold strong here. But the good news is it will keep the ball out of the arms of Brogan Funderburg, you would think, who's got 6 carries for 77 yards.
Well, 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the right. McKinney acting like they're going to blitz on this play. The handoff, Funderburg, and he's got the 25-26. Brandon Ogletree comes up and pops him right at the 29-yard line. Well short of the first down. They're going to have to go a ways. They're going to have to get to the 45-yard line for a first down, and right now they're about 15 yards away, 16 call it, at the 29.
Well, and it looks like a good, solid linebacking reaction there from this McKinney linebackers, who are arguably the heart of this defense. They weren't fooled. It was a passing situation, but they still made their keys and reads, and Funderburg only able to gain about 5.
Coachman will come out near side along with the receiver Eric St. Amand, and Presley will send 1 receiver to the right. J.D. Dowling faking the blitz. Presley drops back, wants to throw under pressure, and he is sacked in the backfield way back to the 19-yard line. Adam Fairborn is right there along with Adonis Graham.
Yeah, that's a huge series again. Paul Wynn is in on a sack that ends a drive for Frisco. They didn't have a single third down opportunity on their first drive, which resulted in a touchdown. But these last 2 drives they've had on offense have ended in a third down sack and then a punt following.
Adonis Graham came into the game with 1 sack. Adam Fairborn came in with 3. They may share that one, so we'll see what they do statistically.
Yeah, just give a half sack.
But more importantly, it'll be punt time for Frisco, and what a bad one it is. Get away Eddie Morgan, and he does. The ball will bounce at the 42-yard line and go out of bounds. And great field position McKinney will have right now with 5:27 left to go before the half. Down 13-9, but they're going to start at the Frisco 41-yard line.
21-yard punch by Evan Coachman, and all of a sudden Frisco's in business again. It looks like the special teams for both sides aren't playing up to their capabilities, as Coachman's one of the better punters in this district. Well, boy, just a 21-yard punt there really puts him at a disadvantage, because now McKinney's starting inside Frisco territory, and they're basically a Ryan Packard runaway.
And speaking of Ryan Packard, he's in the backfield. Corbin Lewis standing to his right. We'll have to get word on Chris Wimbish. We may check down with Teddy Sappho later. This is going to be a fake the hand to Lewis, and Packard's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and goes down at the 40-yard line. He does a great job of getting out behind the line of scrimmage and getting up to the line, and Roland Gedich makes the stop right at the 40. No gain, be second down and 10.
Well, we saw him do that elusiveness in the backfield to prevent a safety earlier on their first series, and he does it again to avoid what would have been a 2-yard loss. Instead, turns it into a half-a-yard gain.
Jared Thompson and the offensive line makes their march out to the line of scrimmage, which is the 40-yard line. It'll be second down and just inside 10, maybe 9.5. Corbin Lewis in at tailback, shotgun formation. Packard wants to throw. 2-step drop, has his man Michael Peters, makes the catch and escapes a couple of tacklers before he goes down at the 33-yard line. That's going to be short of a first down, and Terrence Brown makes the stop. Michael Peters comes in the game tonight with 16 catches on the year, 168 yards. Last week, he had 5 catches for 65. He has yet to see the end zone, and I'm sure Michael Peters was wanting to escape right there and find it for the first time.
Well, he tried to do his best Ryan Packard imitation. He was able to avoid the first 2 tacklers, but he was running more north and south, which this is an east-west angled field. So that was running toward the sideline. He only got about an extra yard or 2.
Big play here. Third down and 1.5. It's going to be a handoff. Corbin Lewis up the middle, has the first down. Surging crosses the 30 down to the 27 and may have stopped about the 26. Now they're going to say 27 as Curtis Kazansky comes up, makes the stop. It'll be first down for McKinney, and they're moving the sticks once again.
Monty, that is the 8th rushing first down for this McKinney offense to go with 9 total. They're starting to find their groove just a little bit, and it's happening on the ground.
13-9, Frisco leads with 3:49 left to go before half. And Corbin Lewis has to come in for Chris Wimbish, who is out, and we don't know exactly why right now, but we'll try to find out. 3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right is Jeff Fuller. Packard in shotgun. He's going to hand off. No, he's going to fake the hand, and whistles blow right before the play could go underway. 3:31 left to go, and it's going to be against McKinney.
Delay of game, so nothing going on. Again, it's a dead ball foul when they stop right as the play begins. So that's the 53rd yardage of penalty racked up on 7 penalties. And again, McKinney, once they looks like they got something in a groove, then comes a penalty.
Chris Wimbish checks back into the football game on 1st down and 15. Packard looks over to the sideline, wants the call. Apparently gets it from the offensive coordinator, Parker Lyles, and wants to snap here. Drops back, throws over to the screen pass out to Maxwell, who cannot escape the tackle of Pierre LeBlanc back at the 20 or 35-yard line, rather. So I'm telling you what, McKinney is moving backwards a little bit, and because of penalties and because of plays like that where they can't escape tacklers of, LeBlanc and those safety guys come up pretty good. And Frisco has got a fairly decent defense over there they're showing tonight.
Yeah, they're really good at the pursuit. We got a penalty on McKinney. It's going to be holding. So disregard the play. So instead of what would it be about a 2nd and 18 or so, it's now going to be a 1st and 25. I'm not sure if that's worth the down. I probably would have taken the play.
The ball will be marked at the 42, so we'll try this 4th play of the drive for the 3rd time now. And now it will be 1st down and a truckload back at the 42-yard line. They have to get all the way down to the 18, I guess.
It's just a Packard runaway.
Ryan Packard is going to throw the home run ball down the field. Jeff Fuller is there, and it's almost intercepted. It goes in and out of the hands of the cornerback over there, Chris Warnick. And Fuller actually had a shot to make the catch, but it rolls off his fingertips too, so it'll be 2nd down and a truckload. 25 to be exact.
McKinney almost got lucky there. Frisco coming on the blitz on the backside of Packard. Packard released the ball, then the blitzer came and pushed him in the back to the ground, and that was borderline roughing the passer. But they let it go, and now we're looking at 2nd and 25.
13-9, Frisco on top, 2:45 left to go before half. Packard in shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Wants the ball, gets it, fakes the hand to Wimbish. Rolling out, wants to throw, now he's under pressure. Bray is chasing him from behind, and he is hit from the front side. And this time, once again, Adrian Hendricks comes up and stops him behind the line of scrimmage back at the 45-yard line. So another loss on the play, this time of 3 yards. And that will bring up 3rd down and 25, or 28 rather.
It looked like Jeff Fuller was out in the pattern there, but he was just standing there. It looked like he was expecting Ryan Packard to run. And then once he did, started engaging and blocked, but I'm not sure because he only went about 34 yards down the field and then just stood there.
Wimbish goes out. Corbin Lewis comes in. Packard stands alone in the backfield in the shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Corbin Lewis is a slot receiver on the left. Jeff Fuller split out wide to that far side, to the left side. Packard is going to run the quarterback draw up the middle, has a lane up to the 40, flag down, 35, 30. He could go 20, 15, and steps out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Hold everything. There's a flag on the play as he's pushed out of bounds by Terrence Brown. And guess what? That's against McKinney, and it's coming back.
Well, it was a good call because Frisco was backing up on their heels again, expecting a passing situation. It was a simple quarterback draw. And once you get Ryan Packard in an open field, it looks like he's one of the best runners on this team about making people miss. And that's exactly what happened there. They got around to the 10-yard line, but it doesn't matter. Now they still got to get to the 17 for a 1st down, and the ball's now back in their own territory at the 46-yard line.
They had made it at one time all the way down to the 27-yard line, but now find themselves back to the 46 in their own territory. And this time they'll run the fullback. They'll have Brett Anderson back there, and they'll also, they're going to throw it. Packard wants to throw it down left side. Has a man, Dominic Sweeney, wide open, makes the catch at the 38, down to the 20-yard line, inside 15, breaks a tackle into the 5, and they're going to mark him out of bounds. Dominic Sweeney is really upset. He thought he had the touchdown, but they're going to mark him out of bounds, and It's not enough for the first down. Thought for a moment he was able to escape that out-of-bounds marker, but apparently he was not. And we'll see what McKinney elects to do here. That would have been a tremendous play as Dominique Sweeney, who we've been talking about all year, what a great athlete he is, comes up short on that one as he steps out of bounds.
How often does a 34-yard pass, Monty, put you about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down?
Well, Patrick Kleinenberg will come in to attempt a 37-yard field goal on fourth down. A minute 32 left to go in the second quarter. Frisco on top 13-9. The kick is very low and way left and no good.
Looks like it's partially blocked.
So that'll turn the ball over on downs. As Frisco will take over with a minute 28 left to go here in the second quarter. And Teddy Saffo makes his way on up to the press box. I think he's started to get a little chilly down there. Came up and got his jacket.
That's one of the risks of being a sideline reporter. Everything's all fine and dandy in September. But once you get into that October month, you know it's coming.
1:28 on the clock, and we'll see what Frisco elects to do. They've got a minute 28 to work with, and I'm sure they like to stick it in right here. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Shotgun formation for Presley, who hands off Funderburg up the middle, has a little lane before he's taken down as he crosses the 21-yard line, and he is taken down by Justin Philpy and company right at the 21.
Good blocking up front for Frisco's Brad Kubitz, who had a solid seal block. But luckily for McKinney, there was some pursuit on the side, and Funderburg wasn't able to get anything more than the yard he got.
The ball will be placed at the 21-yard line. Just under a minute now. 13-9, Frisco leading just before the half. This is going to be Funderburg running right side this time. Cuts it back inside, and he is buried right at the line of scrimmage on the stop. Adam Fairborn and company. Also back there, Paul Wynn. And Frisco will call a timeout. We'll take one, too. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Presley drops back, wants to pass, comes over to the near side, has Funderburg all alone, makes the catch at the 36 and dragged down at the 40. A nice open field tackle over there by Darian Royal, who brings him down with 35 seconds left to go before the half. But more importantly for Frisco, they move the sticks. And they have a fresh set of downs out and close to midfield. They're about 9 yards short at the 41-yard line.
Well, they were 1 of 3 on third downs, or 0 of 3 rather.
Hand off Funderburg up the middle. Brandon Ogletree pops him right at the 43-yard line, and Paul Wynn right there as well. Welcome to Brandon's treehouse as he knocks him down right at the 43-yard line.
Well, Paul Wynn's been really active today. It looks like we've got another timeout, but I didn't see it signaled.
We have to correct ourselves moments ago. I said Frisco took the timeout going out of the break. Actually, it was McKinney. So with 24 seconds, I believe that's right. Is that 24 seconds?
24.0, but
Okay.
there's no point up there for you to look at. It's one of the rare times you'll see a football scoreboard do what they do in basketball and give you tenths of a second inside the last minute.
So when Frisco comes back out on the field, of course moving right to left, they are at the 43-yard line. We'll have a second down and about 8 with 24 seconds to work with. And I'm not sure about their kicking problems. They have Coachman, who's been their field goal kicker all year. He hasn't had much of a problem kicking the ball that we've seen. But I would suspect they'd like to get the ball inside the 20 anyway to have a shot at it.
Well, according to Teddy, they did miss that extra point on his own accord. So who knows?
Second down and 8. 2 receivers to either side. Presley in shotgun formation. Barks at his offensive lineman, drops back 3 steps, looks over left side, now looks across the middle, firing it downfield for LaRon Walker. It's over his head and falls incomplete. On the coverage was Preston Turner, along with Eddie Morgan, and Kate Keith comes over to help out at the last second. That leaves 17 seconds on the clock. And more importantly for McKinney, third down.
Well, it's one of those situations when you're playing defense where you don't want to get too far back to be in perfect position for the interception, because then the receiver can come up in front of you and leap in front of you and take it. So while that Morgan jump was just out of his outstretched hands, he was playing good defense and not preventing the receiver from cutting up in front of him.
Be careful with the underneath screen right here to Funderburg. It is 3rd down and 8 with 17 seconds left to go. Here is Presley. He wants to throw it. Now he's in trouble. Has to roll out left side now and has Adam Fairborn push him out of bounds at the 47-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 11 seconds to go. It'll be 4th down.
Well, it was a positive gain. They needed 8. Instead, it got 6. Good play by this McKinney defense. Rather, they only got 5. Even better.
Well, they'll mark the ball at the 47 approximately. So really only a 4-yard gain.
No, they were facing a 3rd and 8. And now it's 4th down. Interesting situation here. If you punt it away, you risk the return. Unless you kick it straight out of bounds, in which case you'll give McKinney another play.
Well, they're lining up like they're going to go for the 4th down play here.
I like this call.
It might be a quick kick. Could be. 2 receivers to either side. Funderburg stands to the right, and he's going to hand off. Funderburg, big hole, crosses the 50, and knocked down by Brandon Ogletree. What a pop he laid on him right at the midfield stripe and denies him the 1st down.
What a play. Ogletree set in stone. Funderburg trying to lower his shoulder to get that extra yard because he came up 1 short. But Ogletree showed why he's one of the best linebackers in this district and laid him flat at the 50.
Not only in the district, Brandon Ogletree is one of the best linebackers in the state, as last year noted as that on all-state selection. And the ball will go over on downs to McKinney with 5 seconds left to go.
That was a big play there by that defense. Not only that, but it's a momentum play because there was a big pop and a stop on 4th down. And now the McKinney offense has an opportunity with 5.6 seconds left, although you would think that they're not going to do much here. You never know.
Shotgun formation for Packard, who rolls out left side, hands off up the middle to Chris Wimbish, who breaks 1 tackle, goes down at the 50-yard line, dragged down by his collar. And that will end the first half, 13-9. Frisco leading this one, but McKinney right in there. And you think after a couple of halftime adjustments, you think McKinney would come out and maybe pop Frisco right in the mouth, and that's what you want to hope for if you're a McKinney Lions fan. So 13-9, we'll take a quick timeout. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. And apparently they've got some pretty good nachos over there, Brandon.
Yeah, not bad.
We're looking for Teddy Sappho down on the sidelines. We are trying to possibly hear from Coach Todd McVeigh at the half and see what his thoughts were on the first half. And we're I don't even see Teddy.
Well, it might be hard to, since he's kind of there. He is at the 30.
Oh, okay. Now
Jogging down to the 25.
he's making his way over there. So we'll try to hear from Coach Todd McVeigh if he'll have a word with us. But your assessments on the first half, Brandon?
Well, I think aside from the first drive, the defense has looked really good. And our secret insider source was astute enough to observe on the first drive, McKinney's defense was in a 3-down line set. And then they since reverted back to the old familiar 4-down lineman. And that has seemed to have given them results. Also, I think you got to look at the fact of, granted that, well, let's go down to Teddy real quick. Monty?
Teddy, go ahead.
Coach McVeigh, your team's down 13-9, but what adjustments have you made for the second half?
We just got to come out and play a lot harder right now. I think we, for whatever reason, came out a little flat, and, we just got to pick up our game in the second half and quit making so many mental errors.
Coach, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks.
All right, Teddy Sappho. Coach McVeigh, we talked about the mental errors, and it was pretty obvious when you're getting penalty after penalty after penalty in the first quarter like they did, and even carrying on a little bit to the second quarter. It looks like they've tried to correct their situation with their mental errors as they've moved along in this football game, but I'll tell you what, it was very evident to Todd McVeigh. He knew what was going on down there.
Well, 8 penalties are the penalties you speak of, and they started their first drive at the 4-yard line. And then quickly went backwards on a penalty and then tried to go forwards and just had a hard time doing that. But penalties were really shot them on that first drive and carried over into their second. Of course, that again also was a bad field position start. So this was a situation in which, field position brought about a lot of bad penalties. Remember, there were some dumb ones in there too, some, personal fouls, that dead ball type variety, and you just got to keep your head in that situation.
The Frisco band comes out here and does their little performance, and they all line up in the words that spell Frisco. But I'm going to tell you, I have no idea how they did that, because just a few moments ago, they were scrambling on the field like like they were chasing cattle or something, and now they come out and somehow form this line that says Frisco. So apparently they do a little training themselves.
Well, I thought it had something to do with being the last home game of the year. It was something where they just went crazy on the field. And then all of a sudden there was some chaos, order coming out of the chaos, rather. And very nice-looking Frisco spill. Nice job of that man.
McKinney stretching on the far sideline, waiting to make their way out onto the field. We should have some more McKinney ISD football coming up here very shortly as the captain actually makes his way out on the field. J.D. Dowling comes out to the 50-yard line. We're still awaiting the captain from Frisco, and here he comes. It'll be Kel Presley running out of the dugout, running out like Rocky as he comes out of there, and he'll go down to the 50-yard line and meet with the official there, and J.D. Dowling. And remember, McKinney won the toss and deferred, so they will actually receive the football first and will be moving, I believe, right to left, if I remember right. No, I think that's right.
I'll go with it.
So J.D. Dowling comes out and meets with Kel Presley right at the 50-yard line for the captain's conversation, and we're going to take a quick timeout and be back in a moment. 13-9 at halftime. Frisco leads McKinney. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.
Well, second Red Rum return.
Red Rum. McKinney would like to scare the Frisco Raccoons right out of this Frisco Memorial Stadium tonight, and if they can come out and really punch them in the mouth on this first series and get, take the lead for the first time, I think they'd have a shot because they've been playing really well defensively in that latter portion of the second quarter. They weren't able to give anything to Frisco other than that touchdown on the kickoff return is really all that Frisco has done since their opening possession.
Well, and that was just a bad coverage play because there were three white shirts in front of LaRon Walker when he fielded that, and he somehow managed to skirt between them. Well, I still contend there was a possibility of a block in the back on that play, but that was a situation, again, where the special teams, for both sides really, have played below subpar status today.
Well, Frisco comes back out on the field in their electric blue uniforms with the blue helmets. They have the stripes over the shoulder pads, over the sleeves, like just about every school does nowadays. Seems like almost every team we've seen has that stripe, the New York Jets stripe right over the shoulder pad. Justin Northwest, I believe, had that. South Lake Carroll, they've had that forever. And Frisco's had this look for quite a while now. There's other teams that we're just overlooking. I know Wiley does as well. McKinney North does. Just about everybody has that little stripe now.
No, it's just a fashion accessory. Complements the look.
Well, McKinney will send their return unit out. It will be Corbin Lewis and Eddie Morgan standing back at about the 9-yard line. Eddie Morgan actually comes out across the 10 to almost the 11 as Evan Coachman will kick this one off on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff here for the second half. 13-9, Frisco on top, leading this one. And McKinney really needs to make a statement here opening this second half. Coachman is standing at the 44-yard line. The ball is teed up at the 40, of course. He approaches it and kicks a high kick. It's going to be taken by Corbin Lewis at the 14, muffs it a little bit, picks it back up, has a lane. 30, look out, 35, near sideline 40, spins down to the 44-yard line. So the Lions will start off in pretty good business right at the Frisco 44-yard line.
Well, that's a situation where the muffed kick almost benefited McKinney in a way because that forced Corbin to pick it up and, wait about a second or two before starting his return. And then it seemed just as he hit the wedge, that's where the blocks formed. So it's almost, I wonder, had he caught that on the fly and started running with it, if it would have been as near a good a return.
I said the Frisco 44-yard line. It's actually the McKinney 44-yard line in their own territory. Ryan Packard goes out in shotgun formation. It is Corbin Lewis in the backfield, not Chris Wimbish. And Teddy Saffo was telling us that he's not injured. It's just a rotation situation.
Probably
now
keeping him fresh.
Lewis goes to the left side, now gets the toss, runs right tackle, and is caught behind the line of scrimmage. He is initially hit by Pierre LeBlanc. Adrian Hendricks comes over and finishes him with Jeremy Cotton. It'll be 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain.
Well, this is a very key series to open up the second half, trying to set the tone. That's why they like to defer the first half option to the second, so that way they can receive in the second and then set the tone for the half. And down 4 points. This would be a big opportunity for them to do so.
Michael Peters and Chris Zilmer go wide right. Calvin Maxwell and Jeff Fuller come near side. And Ryan Packer, the quarterback, wants it, gets it. One-step drop, throws over right side. Michael Peters catches it at the 48, crosses the 50, close to a first down inside Frisco territory at the 47-yard line. And Pierre LeBlanc comes up and makes the stop. 11 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Frisco on top 13-9.
Well, it's Peters' second catch tonight, and with that completion, Ryan Packer's now brought his percentage up to 500 for the game, 5 of 10 passing. And a 3rd and 2 coming up here. Big down for the line offense.
Big down, you're right. 3rd down and 2. Under 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. Peters goes split out wide right. Jeff Fuller in the slot position to the near side. And this is going to be a handoff. Corbin Lewis up the middle. Makes one defender miss, and he's not going to be able to get the first down. He's only going to be able to get about a foot before Gerardo Martinez makes the stop. It'll be 4th down and punt time from the 46-yard line.
Yeah, why not go for it?
Well, they're actually going to say the 47, so they were about a yard, little more than a yard away from the first down. So they will punt. They'll bring in Ben Martinek and company, and the left-footed punter will punt this one away. On the year, Ben Martinek has 14 punts for a little over a 33-yard average.
First punt tonight was 37.
So Martinek will punt this one away. A lot of pressure, but he gets it away. And it's going to be taken by LaRon Walker, who he'll put it on the ground all the way back to the 1-yard line, caught in traffic, and now is going to go down, I thought, and now he does finally go down at the 10-yard line by Brandon Ogletree, and Preston Turner is there to help him make the stop.
What was he doing? He fielded the ball at the 5 and then went backwards like, well, let me get in the end zone now to take it for a touchback. And then at the 1, wait a minute, I can't do that. That was so weird. And then he was caught in the corner there at the sideline in the end zone, tried to make it forward and at least got to the 8, but that was very odd.
Yeah, the ball will be at the 8-yard line with 9:41 left to go in the third quarter. Frisco on top 13-9.
By the way, 39-yard net average punt there for Martinek. Good punt.
Martinek's average is going up tonight with a 37 and a 39-yarder. This is going to be Funderburg moving over to the left side of Presley. Presley wants to throw right side, has his man caught at the 12-yard line, and he is met and driven out of bounds at the 15. And over there is Eddie Morgan along with Preston Turner and Brandon Ogletree, who all three come over and make the stop with 9:29 left to go in the third. It'll be a gain to the 15-yard line. Call it about a 7-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 3.5. Ball just across the 15-yard line. 2 receivers wide left for Frisco. And this is going to be a handoff. Funderburg running right behind the center. Brandon Ogletree pops him, but Funderburg keeps on rolling past the first down marker out to the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. So already 12 yards on 3 plays, or 2 plays rather, for Frisco here. It'll be 1st and 10 with 8:51 left to go. And a new player, Jackson Anderson, into the game. This is going to be a handoff. Funderburg, who crosses the line of scrimmage, and he goes down after a minimal gain. Kyle Hagelin comes up to make the stop, along with Brandon Ogletree, who's always on the stop.
Yeah, he's one of the best linebackers you see in the district and the state, and he showed it there. But one thing you got to love about his linebacking play is just his ability to pursue to where the ball carrier is. He's got a very uncanny ability to read his keys quickly.
Ogletree came in tonight leading the team in solo tackles with 58. 2nd down and 9, 8:15 left to go in the third quarter. Frisco on top 13-9. Presley, the quarterback, drops back 2 steps, wants to throw, fakes it, now rolls up the middle, and he has a little bit of room and possibly a first down out to the 31-yard line. He's going to get a great left-footed spot by the official on the far side as Cates Keith makes the stop. And I'm going to tell you, that line judge on the far sideline, David Tucker, made a great spot if you're a Frisco fan. Very left-footed. Well, not criticizing the official, just allowing the listener to be able to visualize the left foot being spotted right there.
Well, it's all where the ball is when the knee goes down, which is hard to tell sometimes from up here.
1st down and 10 for Frisco. Presley back to pass, throws, it's tipped and incomplete. That was a very dangerous tip for Antoine Davis, I want to call him Antoine Brown for some reason, but Antoine Davis tipped it up in the air, and that's very dangerous. If you're going to try to tip a ball, you might as well tip it down. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, it was a high pass, and I think he was just trying to get a hold of it. And sometimes when you're just trying to do that, you get a high tip. But fortunately, if you're a Raccoon fan, there was no one else around to intercept it.
Denzel Brown in the slot to the near side, along with Coachman. And this is going to be a handoff. Funderburg running left side, and he has a few yards, and whoa, is he popped. Goodness gracious, Eddie Morgan lays the wood down on Funderburg. Absolutely takes him to the woodshed.
Well, 2 of the last 3 carries for Funderburg are resulting in a pounding to the ground, the one to end the first half. And then this one here on his second carry of the second half. And now a big key 3rd down here. It's going to be 3rd and 6. And you need a stop here for McKinney.
Wow, my head's ringing from that hit. 3rd down and 6. Under 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Frisco up 13-9. Presley wants it, gets it. Looking over left side. He's being chased out of the pocket. Throws across the middle. It's caught by Denzel Brown, who has the first down near midfield out to the 45-yard line. Darian Royal makes the stop, but not before Denzel Brown makes the catch for the first down. It was a great throw by Kel Presley, who was running to the right, threw across his body to the middle of the field, and had a wide open Brown and made the catch. And the sticks are moving once again for Frisco.
Kel Presley has 5 completions on the day, and each of the 5 have gone to a different receiver.
3 receivers to the near side this time. Antoine Davis to the left. It's going to be a handoff. Funderburg shakes one tackler and can't shake the tackle of Adam Fairborn right up the middle, but he does gain a couple of yards. J.D. Dowling also there to make the stop. Gain of about 3 yards, almost 3 yards on the play.
Brogan Funderburg, 14 carries, 99 yards now. Remember, he had 77 after the first drive and a half.
Ball will be placed just short of the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 8. 5:58 left to go, 3rd quarter. Frisco up 13-9. Presley drops back 2 steps, wants to throw over the middle. Has his man Antoine Davis, has a lot of room, 40, and chased down at the 37-yard line. On the stop is Adonis Graham, among others, but it's a little bit late for the first down as Antoine Davis has a pretty nice gain there.
16 to be exact. And those two are starting to find a rhythm together, which is something you want to try to avoid if you're McKinney, because once Antoine Brown starts getting in the game, he's got 43 receptions on the year for 473 yards. You don't want him finding a groove.
Preston Turner comes near side to cover Antoine Jackson, as Funderburg will be in the backfield to the right side of Presley. Drops back. He's wanting to look to Davis once again, and Davis is popped by Darian Royal. We'll have to check to see if it was incomplete or not. I believe he made the catch, but he really paid the price as Royal was right there. And he did. I think they are going to say he made the catch at the 34-yard line. So a gain of only 3. And Darian Royal, I tell you what, these McKinney Lions are making your neck hurt and your arms hurt because they're really popping the Frisco Raccoons tonight.
Well, it's something he has been giving him about a 5-yard cushion. And then needed to make a play there because it's bread and butter.
Presley, 2-step drop, happy feet, throws down the field. Wide open is Antoine Davis, but it's broken up over there by Darian Royal. Great coverage down around the goal line. Presley was trying to go for the home run ball, and Davis came up a little bit short because of Royal.
Well, the first pass defense of the night recorded for the Lion defense going to be a bigger one because Davis had a beat on that one, and it was right in his hands, but Royal put his hand between the 2 hands of Davis, preventing him to grasp the ball and bring it down, and then pulled it out to the ground. Good defense.
10th play of the drive. This drive started at Frisco's own 8-yard line. They're at the McKinney 34. 3rd down and 7. 4:45 left to go, 3rd quarter. Frisco on top, 13-9. Presley drops back 2 steps, looks over to the left side and throws incomplete to Davis. He was trying to hit him right at the first down marker, but a little mix-up there by Presley and Davis.
Yeah, because Adonis Graham came on pressure from the far side, forcing Presley to have to throw it out quickly, and because he had to throw it sooner than he wanted to, Davis hadn't even come out of his break yet on the out, and the ball was already halfway to him, so he had no chance to grab that one because he had to adjust to the pattern. Another 4th down attempt coming here.
4th down, 11th play of this drive at the 34-yard line in McKinney territory. 4th down and 7. 4:41 left to go, third quarter. Frisco on top, 13-9. This is a huge play in the third quarter. Presley's going to hand off Underberg up the middle, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brandon Ogletree, Kyle Hagelin, and Paul Wynn come up big, and the ball will turn over on downs to McKinney. And oh, what a defensive stand that was.
I don't understand that on a 4th and 7 call. It almost seemed they just wanted to get yardage instead of trying to get a first down. I mean, that was only a gain of 3. Now, granted, it was a draw play, and so you're trying to catch them off balance, but you've run the draw play enough now, you almost know it's coming.
Well, an interesting play call by head coach Vance Gibson, and we failed to mention some of his honors that we'll get to that momentarily as McKinney comes back out on the field, moving right to left. Packard rolls out left, wanting to throw across his body. Now tucks it up. Now he's going to throw it wide open. Michael Peters at the 35, turns it inside 30, cuts it outside 20, 15, 10, 5. It is touchdown time in Texas. Michael Peters scores for the first time this year.
67 yards on the pass play, set up by Ryan Packard's ability to scramble. That forced the defense to cut up because he's taken it for 46 yards already tonight. That left Peters going, hey, I'm out here all alone. And then a bad coverage play. One of the safeties tried to cut up, and Peters said, okay, I'll go over you. Took it all the way to the house. What a play. Woo, what a play.
Michael Peters made a great move when he caught the ball, turned it up inside, made a guy spin around a little bit, and then Peters actually turned around to the right and had a free lane all the way to the highway, which is a touchdown, and he outran one guy. And, let's see what they do here for the PAT. Kleinenberg has it back. It's on the tee. The kick is right in the back of the defensive back there, and they're going to say it's tipped, but
well, it was blocked, a clean block, and there was a bad hold. I was watching the holder. He initially started to put it off in front of the tee, and then tried to recover, and I think that screwed up Kleinenberg.
15-13, McKinney has the first lead of the night. 4:23 left to go, third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Frisco Memorial Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. Are they going to try the pooch kick onside? Well, they run up to the ball, and they do pooch kick. It's going to be taken at the 15-yard line, and the returner on the play for Frisco is Marcus Spinks, who came down with the ball, or was that Davis? That might have been actually Davis who came up with it, and it was. We're told it was by our super secret inside guy up here in the booth with us tonight. The Frisco Raccoons will have the ball at the 36-yard line to open this drive.
That's such an inside joke, even I don't get that one.
Well, it was a one-play, 67-yard drive for McKinney after that Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and I think we've got enough of those in the bank. We can miss one or two tonight. But a one-play, 67-yard drive took 12 seconds off the clock on that 67-yard touchdown from Packard to Peters. Here's first down and 10 for Frisco at their own 36. Presley throws it out left side, has Davis. It's caught up to the 40-yard line and brought down by Ogletree and Darian Royal. Gain of about 4.5 with 4:05 left to go third quarter.
Well, I was wondering earlier today why having 473 yards on 43 receptions, but that seems to be the only pass play that they do to Davis, is a little 5-yard stop. And coming in only had an average of 11 yards per catch. It's not a lot.
They did try to throw it downfield to him a moment ago for the home run ball, but Darian Royal had great coverage. And here is second down and 6. Presley's going to throw the swing pass. No, he throws it out to Davis, and it goes incomplete right through his hands. That one, you can't say it was great coverage or anything. Ogletree was there, but the ball actually just went straight through his hands. So that'll bring up third down.
We got a conference with some of the officials, a legal man downfield on Frisco. And I wonder at 3rd and 6 if you're comfortable enough to decline that one or if you're going to take a 2nd and 11. Well, the way their defense is playing, I say, hey, you decline that one.
Well, they're discussing it right now, and I believe they're going to go ahead and move it back. So it will be second down and 11. The ball is going to be placed at the 35-yard line.
Only the 4th penalty for Frisco tonight. So we'll see what happens here on a 2nd and 11.
Ryan Packard checks in at cornerback for Darian Royal.
Interesting.
And Preston Turner still in the game on the near side cornerback. This is Presley in shotgun formation, 2nd down and 11. He wants to throw. Now he's going to hand off up the middle, and a new ball carrier into the game for the first time tonight. It's the backup running back who gains about 3 yards, and that is Lee Harris. Brandon Ogletree comes up to make the stop.
That's also an interesting call. You're facing a 2nd and 11, so you do a draw play to your backup running back, and it's not even Brogan Funderburg you're doing a give-up draw to. It's curious.
Vance Gibson coached at Sherman. His last high school head coaching job, went 4-6 there in 1984. Since then has been at Howard Payne, head coach there. Rolling out right side is Presley. He's in trouble. He's got Derek Clary on his back. He throws it out of bounds, and that'll fall incomplete. 4th down, and it is punting time for Frisco.
Good downfield coverage set up the ability for some of the McKinney down linemen, and more specifically Adam Fairborn, who had the pursuit on him, and then there was some backside pursuit applied later. But the downfield coverage was there, not allowing Presley to be able to thread the needle anywhere.
Back to return the punt is Darian Royal. And he stands at his own 26-yard line. Coachman, who does the punting and kicking and slot back work for Frisco, will boot this one away. It's going to be a low line drive kick. It's going to take a hop at the 39-yard line and bounce sideways a little bit before being killed right there at the 32-yard line. So McKinney will start at their own 32-yard line. Be moving right to left with 2:41 left to go, 3rd quarter, and a lead for the first time tonight, 15-13.
Well, 31-yard kick matches as longest so far for Evan Coachman. But the best thing for McKinney is now their ball is at the 32. You know, after some horrendous starting field position in the beginning of the first half, they're really starting to get some benefit of some good starting field position outside their own 30.
2 receivers to either side now. Ryan Packard at quarterback, shotgun formation, and it'll be Corbin Lewis standing next to him. He's going to fake the hand to him. Packard wants to roll right, and he's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, and making the play is Roland Geddes, who came up right in the backfield, and I thought he was actually going to get the handoff instead of Corbin Lewis.
Yeah, he was back there pretty quick. And it's a loss of 2. Packard has a few losses today, but he also has the uncanny ability to avoid that. And if it wasn't for a jersey grab, Packard would have been able to avoid that tackle.
The ball will be spotted just shy of the 31-yard line, resting on the 30. It'll be 2nd down and about 12 with 2:06 left to go, 3rd quarter. Jeff Fuller split out wide left. And Michael Peters wide right, who has a 67-yard touchdown to his credit tonight. This is Ryan Packard rolling out right side once again, cuts it up inside, makes another cut to the inside, and is finally going to be tackled back close to the line of scrimmage. And on the stop, Denzel Brown comes up and makes it. And I'm telling you, that was the most fancy 1-yard gain I think I've ever seen.
Well, give him a little credit. It was a 2-yard gain.
Okay.
But you're right. Maybe if he'd have stuck down that right sideline, he would have been able to get more. He thought he had a crease, but it was converged quickly by Frisco.
3rd down and 10. You would love to see a conversion right here of some sorts for McKinney, who sends a man in the backfield, which is Corbin Lewis, right beside Ryan Packard's going to roll out left this time, throwing across his body and has his man, and it's incomplete. He was trying to hit Dominique Sweeney coming across at about the 50-yard line. The ball was kind of thrown in the direction of Michael Peters as well. I don't know exactly which one he was going to try to hit, but
it was about halfway between both of them.
Regardless, it's 4th down with 1:08 left to go in the 3rd quarter. McKinney on top, 15-13. And back in punt formation, Ben Martinek will come on tonight. He has a 37 and a 39-yard punt to his credit tonight, and he needs another one of those right here.
Yeah, and right now Frisco is on the losing end of the field position battle here in the second half, and a lot of that was what Martinek did his last punt of 39.
LaRon Walker will field this one. Actually, this one's going to be tipped, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Somebody got a hand on that one. Cates Keith is talking to Ben Martinek back there as they approach the defensive huddle, and Martinick will run off. But they were talking, somebody got a tip on that one.
Yeah, Frisco is putting on a rush because, I don't know, it seems like all three punters for McKinney will do that two-step to the side and punt. And I'm just wondering, if you're a special teams, why not send everybody? Because there's going to be a good chance that you're going to get back there because of just how long it takes to get the punt off. And I'm not sure if that's coaching or if all three punters just do that. And what happened there, Frisco applied the rush and was able to get a hand on it.
1:02 left to go, third quarter. Frisco in its third possession here in the second half. McKinney has the lead, 15-13. It could come down to those kicks that have been missed all night. This is Funderburg going to get the toss, or the handoff rather, and he is really popped. Eddie Morgan comes up and just nails him right at the 47-yard line. Brandon Ogletree also there to make the stop. And I'll tell you what, between Morgan and Brandon Ogletree and the hit we had from Darian Royal a moment ago, these guys are really bringing it tonight.
It's like I said, it's why I think I trust my defense right now. Earlier when I thought they might go for a 4th and 2, they're just playing so hard, so fast, and so quick that you can be a little bit more risky on offense.
It was a 4-yard gain for Funderburg out to the 48-yard line, 2nd down and 6. Under 20 seconds now in the third quarter. Funderburg gets the same carry to the right side, and he's stopped this time by J.D. Dowling, who comes up from his middle linebacker position. And Funderburg is going to gain 2 yards out to the 50, and I believe that's the last play of the third quarter.
Well, this is the same play they did last time, and against McKinney, you got to mix it up because if they see it real quickly, they'll trounce it again.
It is fourth quarter time in Texas, 15-3. McKinney takes a 2-point lead into the last stanza. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Oh, Ghostbusters there.
Not sure that's scary, but I like it.
A little Halloweenish, I guess. 3rd down and 4 here for Frisco. Drops back. Kell wants to throw it down deep and has a man there. And guess who it is? It's Darian Royal, and it's picked off at the 20-yard line. And now they're going to say he's out of bounds. That would have been huge for McKinney. It'll be 4th down, however. And Teddy Saffo, let's check down with you. We haven't seen a lot of Chris Wimbish. Do you have any explanation as to why that might be?
Well, probably the reason why. One reason is because, well, he hasn't been really effective since he's been running the ball. I mean, mind you guys, he's been out for more than 3 weeks. First half, he had about 30-something yards in rushing. So right now, they're just trying a different change of pace here. But obviously, their main objective tonight is to try and win. They're doing whatever they can to win because obviously right now they're in a position where they have to win on out in order to make it to the playoffs. Back to you guys.
11:53 left to go in this football game. McKinney on top, 15-13, and about to get the football back. Here's the punt from Coachman. It's going to go over Darian Royal's head, land right at the goal line, and bounce over and out of the end zone. So it'll be a touchback. McKinney will have the ball at their own 20-yard line to start this fourth quarter.
Kind of funny. That would have been Coachman's best punt of the night had the end zone not gotten involved. Instead, it's going to be a net punt of 30, but it was 40 after the bounce. But it bounced into the end zone. Some
good news on the scoreboard around District 9-4A. Hebron on top of Justin Northwest 10-7. That's great news if you're a McKinney North fan. If you want some even better news if you're a McKinney North fan, you're on top 50-10 over Keller Central in the fourth quarter.
Well, in either way, if you're a McKinney fan, the Justin Northwest Hebron game doesn't mean a whole lot because you beat Northwest and you're tied with them right now. Just take care of business here.
11:46 left to go in this football game. McKinney trying to seal it, 15-13. They have the lead. Packard, shotgun, handoff up the middle. That is Chris Wimbish. He has the 20, and look out that ankle. Went down gingerly right at the 19 or the 21-yard line, and he's okay. He gets up, but that looked like it could have been scary.
First carry of the second half goes for a yard. He sat out a corner. I think what they're doing is they're just letting him back gingerly because right now you don't need him when you're up 2 and your defense is playing as well. You'd like him to be in there, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it'd be worse to have a re-aggravation of that injury.
Bernard Bray is the guy who brought him down, and that's pretty scary. The guy out there looks like he's about 275 and about 6'3".
Yeah, he's huge.
The first time we've really called his name tonight, however. Packard wants to throw, has Jeff Fuller at the 25 and scoots his way down to the 27-yard line, about 2.5 yards, 3 yards short of the first down, however.
6-yard pass is Jeff Fuller's third reception of the game for 29 yards. He's only beat by Michael Peters, who has 3 receptions, but 82 thanks to that 67-yard TD.
I think he got another left-footed spot, except this time it's the other way. It looked like he had it out to the 28. They're going to spot it at the 27. 3rd down and 3. 10:35 left to go, third quarter. McKinney on top, 15-13. Packard shotgun, looking left side. Throws it to, I believe that's Maxwell. Nope, it's the new sophomore who makes the catch and has the first down out to the 32-yard line. Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Philip Sears, as he makes the catch. The 6', 160-pound sophomore moves the sticks, and that's good news for Philip Sears, as if you want to get into the game as a sophomore, you want to do something really positive, and Coach McVay will probably remember that one for a good while. 1st down and 10, 10:23 left to go in the fourth quarter. McKinney on top, 15-13. Packard moves Wimbish over from left to right, now back, or right to left, and now back left to right. 2 receivers to the left side. This is going to be a handoff. Wimbish up the middle, cuts it back out right side, cuts it back inside, has the 35 out to the 36-yard line. They'll mark him down there, and a nice first down run will bring up 2nd down and about 5.
Yeah, and it looks like he's still being a bit timid because he had that hole and was slow to accelerate to what we have seen Wimbish speed. It will eventually go for a gain of 5, so that puts him at 40 yards on the day, but it seemed a very slow developing play, and you got to give credit to the line. They held their block for a while.
Like we say, Wimbish doesn't have to be great just to be effective. And he will be in the I formation. This is going to be a handoff to Brett Anderson running left side. Gets a great block by Jared Thompson, but not another one. Jeff Fuller can't pick up the other block, and there's a flag down now. And on the stop for Frisco, coming up from his cornerback position, I believe, it was Chris Warnick who came up and made the stop. Fuller couldn't get Warnick away, and this looks like the flag may be against Frisco.
Yeah, they're reacting fairly negatively. I'm wondering if it's either unsportsmanlike conduct or we got some late block / hitting going on because Anderson wasn't hit after he was tackled. He was hit hard by Warnick. But then there was some celebration coming up, so you wonder if that's what's going on.
Teddy Sappho was right down there on the sidelines, and we'll check down with him momentarily to see what he is seeing from the McKinney lines on the sidelines. Matter of fact, Teddy, I know you can hear. Let's talk a little bit about the sideline activity. What's going on? You're right in front of the guys.
Right, it is so loud. I can even barely hear you guys even talking right now. I mean, this team's actually rallying behind this crowd because right now at this point, they're just trying to put this game away. Anyway, you guys, I'll have a little bit more on the personal foul after this play. Back to you guys.
All right, Michael Peters split out wide right. Jeff Fuller wide left. Go ahead, Brandon.
Offsetting personal fouls, one on each side after the play.
Packard back to pass, looking for Jeff Fuller, who falls down, flag down at the 48-yard line. It might be a push-off.
Yeah, Fuller was running downfield and got pushed into the back. And his ankle might,
Yeah, he's grabbing his left ankle, and that's not good news. Teddy Sappho, talk about that personal foul that you saw down there a moment ago.
Actually, earlier what had happened was I believe it was number 28 for McKinney. It was Brett Anderson. Number 3 on the defensive side for Frisco, for the Raccoons. After the play, just went up to his face and was just letting him know about it. And apparently that's been going on quite a bit in the second half. So the referees have decided to clamp down on it, and they did throw a flag on it.
These teams hate each other.
You're right down there in front of Jeff Fuller. Is he walking okay?
Yeah, Jeff is walking on the field on his own power. He just, after that hit, it just seemed like he got his foot caught in the turf.
All right, well, we'll check the flag here, and it's going to be against Frisco. And yeah, you're right, Brandon. I don't know if hate is the word, but these two teams really don't like each other. They're not far apart along the highway there. There can be a little bad blood. Two teams, two towns that are very similar. One that two basically that have grown to the max over the past 10 years. McKinney really, I don't think McKinney's done, actually.
No, they're projected to about 500 full build-out.
Another 3 high schools possibly. Here's a swing pass out to Philip Sears, who makes the catch, makes a nifty move, cuts back inside, and goes down at about the 47-yard line. He made a couple of moves, but what he really needed to do is move upward on the field and didn't do it. He kept trying to juke a little bit, and that gave time for Ryan Sickler to come over and make the stop for Frisco.
Yeah, his nifty moves got him 2.5 yards, where if he just lowered his shoulder, probably would have got him 3 or more.
And that's a sophomore, we're talking about, so he will have lots of time to improve on things like that. So I believe this is Wimbish back in the football game at the tailback position, and it is. Stands to the left side of Ryan Packard, who gets the ball. He's going to hand off to him. No, he's going to keep it. Packard keeps it around the left side, cuts through across the 50-yard line and down at the 49 inside Frisco territory, and Josh Wakefield makes the stop from his nose guard position. That'll bring up third down.
Only a gain of about 3 for Packard, but it looks like Frisco's keying on him a little more, which should open the door for another Lion offensive player.
Big play here, 3rd down and 3, the scoreboard says. I'm going to call it 3.5, even 4. This is a pretty good chunky yardage that McKinney needs to get with 8:07 left to go in the fourth quarter clock. Packard wants to throw, rolling out left side. I think he's got some room to get the first down on the ground, and he does, and goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line. A nice heads-up play by Ryan Packard just to tuck it and run.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons why this Lion offense has now 9 first downs via the rush. And that's what he had there, a nice little seam and the speed to get there quickly.
Coming into the game, McKinney was very putrid on 3rd down conversions, 25 out of 82 on the year. 80. That's not going to get it done.
No.
But tonight, looking very good. 1st down and 10. 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. 15-13, McKinney leads. 2 men to either side. Split out wide, and this is going to be a handoff. Wimbish running left side, and he lowers his head, goes down at the 40-yard line, and really pops. There's some extracurricular going on out there as Jeff Fuller kind of gets into it with Chris Warnick out on that far side. Ryan Sickler comes up, makes a stop on Wimbish, but there's some wide receiver cornerback issues going on with Fuller and Warnick over there on that far side. They line up against each other once again on this 2nd down and 8 play. 7:34 left to go, fourth quarter. Ryan Packard looks over to his offensive coordinator, Parker Lyles. Now looks back at the center, wants to snap. 3 receivers to the right side, 2 to the left. He gets it, wants to roll it up near side and tucks it up in the inside and fights his way through a couple of Frisco defenders up to the 35-yard line. Short of the first down by a couple. Adrian Hendricks comes up, makes the stop.
Well, right now this is the best case scenario for McKinney, a slow drive that's gaining, 3, 4, 5 yards, taking that time off the clock. We're 7 minutes left, and they've had this drive for over 4 minutes of this quarter. And if you can get any sort of points out of it with the bonus of taking the time off the clock, things are looking good.
9th play of the drive at the 36-yard line in Frisco territory. 3rd down and 3. I formation, offset I rather. Brett Anderson and Wimbish in the backfield. Wimbish dots the I. Packard under center, hands off Wimbish up the middle, and gets through a crease and is very close to a first down right at the 32-yard line. And I'm going to tell you, he's really close. It was Josh Wakefield who came up from his nose guard position and made the stop. This is probably going to be an official timeout and measure.
Yeah, they've already called the timeout.
Teddy Saffo, you're on the sidelines. You're Johnny on the spot. Tell us what you see down there right from your position.
Well, it looks like right here, actually the coach at McVay has his foot on the line, and he thinks that they have a first down, but we'll see after the referees take an official measurement. And they're marking it down, and they're saying, look, he got about half a football. He has a first down.
Good call, Teddy. You know what? If you're going to make a call, you might as well wait until it's already been made.
That's really not a good call. It's just a good observation.
Well, I told him to make a call. Oh, well.
Well, he just didn't want to be perceived as wrong.
6:31 and rolling here in the fourth quarter, and McKinney really needs to put a nail in the coffin right here and score with 6:24 left to go, up 15-13.
Now 10th rushing first down, Monty. They're really turning it out here.
The ball is at the 32-yard line in Frisco territory. 1st down and 10, handoff Wimbish, and he's going to run left side and is carrying a man on his back. And that's Josh Wakefield again. And I'm going to tell you what, Wakefield is all over the place here in the third quarter, making stop after stop after stop. We're under 6 minutes now on 2nd down and 6.
A couple of observations on this drive, or on that play rather. Wimbish starting to pick up the pace. He's looking really, really getting back to his form like he used to have before the injury. And two, Fuller needs to be careful out there. Looked like he might have been able to be called for a holding, blocking out of the receiving spot.
Warnick's giving him a lot of problems out there at that corner spot. Fuller's doing everything he can to try to keep that block out there. And 2 receivers come to the near side. Packard wants to throw. Look out. Rolling right side. Has a man. Gets a great block by Wimbish. Throws it down the field, and it's intercepted at the 10-yard line. Running it up is LaRon Walker all the way to the 32, and that was not great execution by the McKinney Lions. He got a good block from Wimbish, and he probably could have ran around the right end but Packard chose to throw it down the field, not even a Lion anywhere in sight, really.
Well, it was a bad pass. He had a Lion open, but he overshot him. I believe running out there on the pattern was Michael Peters, and it's hard to overthrow that guy, but he just did barely, and LaRon Walker was just sitting there in a safety spot, came up, intercepted the ball, and now Frisco has new life with 5:20 left in the regulation.
They will start at the 35-yard line in their own territory. Presley wants to throw. Now it's the shovel pass up the middle, and Paul Wynn's right there. It fell incomplete, trying to hit Denzel Brown on the shovel pass, and it was actually it just fell right between his hands again.
Yeah, it was odd because Denzel Brown was in the slot and it looked like they were trying to run a reverse, but the line was blocking in pass formation, and quarterback Kel Presley was backing up, so you knew something was up. And then out playing a good linebacker was Paul Wynn.
It's a good thing Denzel Brown probably didn't make that catch because Paul Wynn was right there to light him up. Two receivers to either side. Presley is in shotgun. Funderburg in the backfield. He gets the carry right up the middle, and he's carrying a couple of lines with him. And one of them is Stanley Driscoll, who's into the game on that front seven, and Paul Wynn also in there.
I really like what I've seen out of Paul Wynn today. And you can look to the obvious big hits by both Ogletree and J.D. Dowling, but Wynn has been consistent all game, and he's been consistently good.
Also into the ball game for McKinney is Co Estes. We haven't seen a lot of him this year. Two receivers to either side, 3rd down and 6. Presley wants to throw, throws it across the middle, and it's almost intercepted by Adonis Graham. It goes in and out of his hands, and thank goodness, because it would have been a reception by Coachman. Evan Coachman was right there to make the catch. He still had a shot to make it, but because of the deflection by Adonis Graham, he couldn't bring it in. It'll be 4th down.
Well, and a lot of times, too, even if you don't get a hand on it, it's enough because then the receiver's already in tackle the defender mode because he's got the interception. So Coachman was coming up and still, instead of going and sticking with his route, and that allowed the incompletion, I think.
Punt formation for Frisco. Coachman goes back, and he takes his time on this one and gets a high end-over-end kick. Darian Royal traces back to his 8-yard line or 12-yard line, picks it up, and he runs across to the 20-yard line.
That's a 40-yard net punt.
Keep going.
40 net punt there from Evan Coachman. That's his best punt of the night. We saw him hit greater than 40 his last punt, but because of that, it was in a situation in which the end zone caused a touchback, only a 30 net punt, but this one went for 40, and now Frisco takes over at the 21 after a decent return at least from the returner to get it from about the 12 or so up past the 20 to the 21.
Well, McKinney actually will take over here at the 21-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, 4:25 left to go in this football game. Toss right side, Wimbish has the 20, cuts it back inside, and is buried at the 24-yard line. On the stop is Ryan Sickler once again, and he's had about 15 tackles tonight. We've called his name a lot. In the 3rd quarter, Josh Wakefield was kind of the guy.
And it's one thing I'm wondering here, if you look at that last play, Wimbish had some good blocking set up, and he's usually one of the better backs in that situation of following his blocks, but he didn't there, almost as if he, still a little bit tender on that ankle.
I would think you'd still be a little bit tender, even though it's 100%. You still have that mental block.
Well, he said it was 90 during the pregame interview.
3:47 on the clock. 4 on the play clock. And Packard's going to get it, and he's going to keep it around left side. Big hole, 30, up, and he is horse-collared and thrown down at the 34-yard line.
By his own man, it looked like. It looked like Dominique Sweeney got a hand out there on it hit Packard's face.
Adrian Hendricks and Ryan Sickler are going to get credit for the tackle, but you may be right. It might have been Dominique Sweeney coming up and making the stop there. Calvin Maxwell will check out, and McKinney will now have a 1st and 10 after that nice play. So Chris Zilmer will actually split out wide right this time. This is the first time he's been the split man. Jeff Fuller split left. Offset I. This is going to be a toss. No, it's going to be a handoff. Brett Anderson running left side, a counter play, and he has the 39-yard line, another close to 5-yard gain. The most important stat on the night, as Justin Carr makes the stop, is the 3-minute, now under 3 minutes on the clock. McKinney has a 2-point lead And, oh, don't forget about the Cowboy game last Sunday. Don't leave enough time on the clock, and don't let them drive down and kick a field goal because, as we know, if you're a Cowboy fan, that can happen.
Well, and again, this is positive movement forward, taking the time off the clock, but we saw the last drive, Frisco's one interception away from good field position.
Yep. Second down and 5, 2:29 on the clock. And this is going to be Ryan Packard keeping it around the right side, flag down at the 42-yard line, and that's more than likely going to be a hold against McKinney. So let's find out the infraction as Adrian Hendricks comes up and makes the stop from his safety position.
Yeah, from my perspective, it looked like Chris Zilmer split out there. Maybe not Zilmer, maybe it was Peters, one of the two. Was holding out there as Packard was trying to make his cut. Hey, the plus side, that's only the first penalty of the half. So McKinney, after having 8 first-half penalties, now only this is at their first, but it couldn't have come at a more inopportune time as they're trying to run down the clock. Plus, it stops the clock, and now Frisco takes a timeout to ponder things over.
We're going to take 1, 2, 15-13. McKinney on top of Frisco. 2:20 left to go. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Second down and 14. Wimbish gets a toss left side, trying to find that corner. Gets the 40-yard line. A nice gain out to, well, they're going to say, yeah, right at the 40-yard line. So it'll bring up third down and about 4.5 for the first down. 2:12 on the clock, and he would have liked to have seen Wimbish be able to stay in bounds there. And now they're going to see another flag on the play. A Golden Hanky is down, and it looks like a hold against McKinney. So we were talking about McKinney being, flagless in the second half. And here we are with 2 in a row.
I'll take the blame.
Scores to pass along. McKinney North 50, Keller Central 24. The last score we had from Hebron and Justin Northwest was 10-7. Hebron on top. Sherman on top of Burt Burnett 14-6. And Denison now trailing Ryder 17-14. And Denison has it. We'll get back to that in a moment. Here's Ryan Packard rolling right side up to the 30 and has his legs taken out from him by Mr. Brown over there. Denzel Brown stops him. Where Denison hasn't lost a district game going back to 2002. 13 consecutive wins in district, and it looks like they might lose tonight. They're a pretty good Rider team. Here it's 15-13 with 1:58 left to go in the game.
Timeout Frisco, and with the third and about 14 coming up, time for McKinney to pull something out of their hat.
This would be a huge play. If you sit there and think about the playbook, third down and 18 or right about 14, I guess. Third down and 14 with 1:58. We've seen crazy play calls this year by Todd McVeigh, and one of them is the Boomerooski. Would you dare think of the Boomerooski on this play? With Brett Anderson, I think you might have something there.
You know what? I think that might not be a bad deal. But then again, remember I talked about it when they did it at McKinney North. They tipped the playbook twice to that play.
Well, they're not sending Brett Anderson anywhere near the backfield. They're sending 2 receivers out either side. One man in the backfield alongside Packard is Corbin Lewis. And he's going to hand off Lewis running up the middle. It's a counter play, and that goes absolutely nowhere as it's sniffed out by the safety. Pierre LeBlanc comes up. He's the first man there, sniffs it out, and there's going to be a timeout now. Frisco with 1:49 left to go in the game, 15-13, McKinney on top.
That's a good play, and I'll tell you why. Because, number one, it took 9 seconds off the clock, and we're under 2 minutes. But the most important fact, that forced Frisco to take their last timeout, so they have no ability to stop the ball or stop the clock rather with the timeout from this point on. So now you just need Ben Martinek to get a good solid punt out, and then you know what? I feel comfortable putting it in the hands of your defense.
Well, special teams has not been the forte tonight for the McKinney Lions, and let's hope that the punt team, who had the Frisco Raccoons actually got a hand on the punt the last time that Ben Martinek tried to punt it away, and he's going to need to get it away pretty quick here as he's talking over there with Coach McVeigh and Teddy Sappho. Talk to us. What's the attitude like over there on the sideline? What is Coach McVeigh saying? You probably got your head in the huddle a little bit.
Actually, out on that play right there, they noticed this is fourth down, and they weren't able to convert. They're looking to not have their punt blocked. That's the main thing. They want to be able to punt the ball down as far as possible, not get a block, so they can try and send a defense on the field so they can stop this offense, hopefully run the clock out.
All right, thanks, Ben Martin. Next punt is not blocked. It's an end-over-end kick that bounces at the 48-yard line in McKinney territory. And Frisco territory, rather. It's going to be killed at the 38-yard line.
32 yards.
So Frisco is going to have to go 62 yards in a minute 38 in order to win this football game. McKinney's up 15-13, a minute 38 left. Frisco gets the ball back, going right to left on the radio dial. They're at their own 38-yard line.
Ironic enough, 38-yard line with 1:38 on the clock.
Last year, it came down to Chris Wimbish putting it in with 8 seconds on the clock. It could come down to the same finish tonight. First down and 10. 3 receivers near side. Presley wants to throw out near side, and Coachman is there, and it's almost intercepted by Adonis Graham. That's the second time he's dropped an interception tonight.
Well, the thing is if he doesn't try to make an awkward interception, Darren Royal's in perfect position on that one, and Adonis Graham playing good defense. You don't want him to not do that, but at the same time, boy, he had a chance to have a big one there if Darren Royal was the one in front of it.
Oh, my goodness, that would have closed the door on Nelly tonight. 1:32 left to go. Second down and 10 from the 38-yard line. Frisco in their own territory send 3 receivers to the near side. Frisco fans on their feet. McKinney fans on their feet. Presley wants to throw right side this time. Has his man and is caught. Crosses the 40, 45, 50 down in McKinney territory at the 48-yard line. First down, and that's Antoine Davis who makes the catch on the far sideline.
14-yard reception there. But more importantly for Frisco, it's a first down, and it stops the clock so they can set the chains.
A minute 25 on the clock, first down and 10. 3 receivers near side. Presley drops back, throwing right side once again, and has Davis, and it's incomplete. That stops the clock. Took 8 seconds off the play clock there. A minute 17 left to go. 15-13, rather. McKinney on top. And desperately trying. And I'll tell you what, Adonis Graham, bless his heart, had 2 shots at picks tonight that probably could have sealed the deal.
Well, the first one wouldn't have so much as the second one would have, because then they're faced with the same offense has to get first downs.
Second down and 10, 1:17 left to go. 3 receivers near side. Presley drops 2 steps back, wants to throw, has Davis caught at the line of scrimmage and tripped up. A nice play by Cates Keith over there. Actually, that's Ryan Packard.
Well, is there any doubt who our player of the game is going to be?
Well, we will have a True Image Productions player of the game tonight, and it will be Ryan Packard. I don't think there's any question about it tonight. This is Presley. He takes about a 3-step drop now, tries to set up the screen, being chased down from behind, throws it downfield, and it is caught. And Eddie Morgan absolutely destroys the receiver, Antoine Davis. The ball is on the turf, but it's caught at the 19-yard line. A great catch. I thought a flag was down for a moment, but Frisco huddles up on the ball. The line of scrimmage is at the 20. There's 47 seconds on the clock. There is a flag down, and they're bringing it back.
Yeah, I was wondering why they were set, getting ready to go, and the chains hadn't moved.
Eddie Morgan nailed Antoine Davis.
And the judging by Kel Presley, the quarterback's argument with the official, it's a big one.
The ball is being spotted at the 45-yard line in Frisco territory, and they haven't yet marked off the penalty.
They call him out of bounds. No completion.
Oh,
he ran out of bounds.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Now I'm glad we got our super secret insider spotter guy. So who ran out of bounds? Oh, Graham before he caught the pass.
It was
I'm with you
Antoine
now.
Davis who stepped out of bounds and then caught the ball.
Yeah, you can't do that.
4th down. This is for your ball game. Presley back to pass, under pressure. He's being chased all the way back to the 35-yard line. Now rolling left. Has to throw across his body. Throws it down the field, and it's caught at the 15 down to the 10-yard line. A tremendous catch and throw by Jackson Anderson, who makes the catch. It was a desperation throw by Kel Presley, and it's caught. First down and 10 for Frisco at inside the 10. Now they're going to mark it right at the 7-yard line. My goodness, now they're going to bring it back and say he's down at the 10. There's 34 seconds on the clock. First down and 10 for Frisco. 2 receivers either side, 1 man in the backfield. And for some reason, Kel Presley's going to spike it and stop the clock. There's second down and 10. He had a play right there. The clock was stopped in order to move the sticks, and he just wasted a play.
Well, when you're looking at a 4-down situation, that's not nowhere near as important as it is making sure you get the right play, because you could be a turnover away if you just try to hustle. So I think in essence that's good. Going back to that last play, what I talked about earlier from playing good defense earlier, Nettie Morgan rushed up and they had to make a leap for a potential interception. The reason why is you saw right there, Jackson Anderson got behind the defense and then basically was able to undercut and get the pass.
2 receivers either side, flag down. Did they take enough time? They did. They took too much time on the play clock. Frisco's going to take a penalty 5 yards back. 30 seconds on the clock. McKinney trying to hold on to this 15-13 lead.
Well, when Kel Presley spiked the ball, that almost immediately restarted the play clock, and when they were on the Frisco sideline, they were basically pretending like they had a timeout, and you don't have that much time after you spike it. You have to have a play ready to go, and it didn't look like Frisco did. Well, this is a good one, Monty.
Fans at full throat from both sides. 2 receivers either side. Handoff. Funderburg up the middle. Has the 12 down to the 10-yard line. Clock rolling. 24-23. What's going on with the play clock calling there?
That's
the clock
dumb.
now rolling at 17, 16. No way to stop the clock. 3rd down and 10. They spike the ball. It's going to be 4th down. They're leaving themselves one chance at this football game.
What a... I don't want to. Oh, that's what they're going. They're going for the field goal here. Not a dumb play because they got it in the middle of the field. I was thinking they were down by a touchdown, having to get the touchdown. That's actually a good play because now you put Coachman right in the middle of the field. This is within his range, too.
Coachman will line up.
We'll see a timeout by McKinney here to ice him.
Coachman's going to line up for a field goal.
Or will
It'll be a 27-yarder.
Yeah, there we go.
And now, we will see a timeout called by McKinney. We're going to keep it right here. 12 seconds left on the clock. If you're a Cowboy fan, this is all too familiar.
So both special teams today have been relatively inadequate compared to what they have been.
You know, and we told you earlier on in this game that it could come down to those blocked PATs or just bad kicks. Or I don't know what the deal was on the kicks, but they didn't go through, and that could be the deciding factor in this football game.
Yep, so we've seen bad kickoff coverage from McKinney, which they allowed Frisco to score the second touchdown that they had. We've also seen a couple of bad punts from both sides, more recently with Ben Martinek having one that was partially blocked, and then we've seen
really his missed opportunities. They had Kel Presley way back sacked, and he threw across his body and found a wide open man. And Adonis Graham had a chance at an interception, which would have closed the door on this football game. And unfortunately for Graham, he couldn't make it. And now another timeout has been called by McKinney. They're really going to try to ice Coachman here on his 27-yard attempt. So we have 12.3 seconds left on the clock. McKinney has a 15-13 lead. And, oh, baby, this is coming down to the wire. Make it or break it time for the McKinney Lions. A loss doesn't necessarily mean that they're out of the playoffs. It just makes things a lot tougher.
Yeah, because McKinney North has the tiebreaker on Frisco and, as I quickly scan the standings here, and over McKinney. But McKinney does have the tiebreaker over Northwest, which is having a close game with Hebron. Boy, it's just muddied right now, and it usually comes down to the last game of the district.
Antoine Davis on to hold. Coachman back to try this 27-yard game-winning field goal with 12 seconds left to go on the clock. It's a high snap. It's down. It is up, and it is good. Somehow Frisco limps that one through on a terrible snap. Give Antoine Davis all the credit in the world. He brought it down, somehow put it on the tee. Coachman took a little step and then somehow kicked it through. My goodness. 7 seconds left to go in this football game, and Frisco has just taken a 16-15 lead.
I thought they had it. They really did, but they dove just a bit too early when they saw that snap. They got a good push, too, from the middle and from the right side of the kicking formation.
Oh, my. This could be the most important Beef O'Brady's kickoff that we've done this year.
One of two things. If you have a seam, bust it as full as you can. Or two, if it's anywhere near out of bounds, you let it go out of bounds. Or three, when you field it, you make a beeline to go to the out of bounds.
Will we see Chris Wimbish back deep to return this? We haven't so far tonight, and it looks like we still won't. Eddie Morgan and Corbin Lewis will go back deep to return this one. Eddie Morgan is averaging 23 yards a return. The Lions have not returned one for a touchdown yet this year. Corbin Lewis has one return for 26 yards on the season, but Eddie Morgan has returned 10. But I doubt, very seriously, you'll see a high, deep kick. It'll probably be a squibber right down the middle somewhere, and that's going to mean that Calvin Maxwell and Michael Peters are probably going to have to deal with it.
Fall on it.
If not, Dominic Sweeney or Brett Anderson over on the far side.
No return if they squib it. Just fall on it.
Coachman, who made the great kick a moment ago, kicks off on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and Dominic Sweeney is going to take it at the 27-yard line, cuts it back inside, now tries to lateral it back to Eddie Morgan, and they're going to run this clock. 35-40, cuts it back inside, and he's in trouble, and he pitches it back to Dominic Sweeney, which is a forward lateral. That's a flag, and the game is over. Frisco has beaten McKinney on a 27-yard field goal with 12 seconds left to go in this football game. An absolute heartbreaker. Oh, baby, it's going to get tough in 9-4A now for the Lions. 16-15, Frisco wins tonight in an absolute heartbreaker.
Once again, fans, please stay off.
And in a trick-or-treat weekend, it seems as if McKinney got tricked with 12 seconds left to go. The two teams will shake hands at center court. Again, 16-15, Frisco wins tonight. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Well, singing a little bit of the blues tonight is McKinney and their Lions, 16-15 losers to the Frisco Raccoons. And what a heartbreaking loss it was tonight. And Teddy Saffo trying to round up Coach Todd McVeigh. And Teddy, let's talk a little bit while you're down there. Teddy, you're listening on Coach Todd McVeigh, I'm sure, and hearing what he's saying to his team. What is he saying?
Well, right now I'm just overhearing him. He's saying saying it's his fault. It's his fault. But honestly, right now, I mean, you can't. I mean, the kids play their heart out. I mean, there's so much emotion right now. I even feel bad right now. I thought they had this game in the bag. But I mean, at this point, I mean, what just how they're feeling right now. Coach May he's just trying to get his team to hold their heads up high. I mean, they played well. Adonis Grant, I believe number 15, he was, I saw him walking off and he was saying it was my fault. A lot of players are taking this game to heart right now. But I mean, as you guys were saying earlier, I mean, they lost this game, but I mean, mathematically they're not out of it. But I mean, right now, it just seems so bleak right now. But as long as they can try and hold their heads up, and coaches is rallying his team right now, maybe things will be all right.
All right, Teddy, try to round up Coach Todd McVeigh if you can. I know he's about to break free from his huddle there, and actually, Teddy, I hate to also say that McKinney, for all intents and purposes, has been eliminated from the playoff race. They fall to 3-3 in the district, and here we have Coach Todd McVeigh. Teddy, take it away down there.
Coach, you got your troops played real hard tonight, but could you say this could be the most heartbreaking loss you guys faced so far?
Yeah, it's very heartbreaking, and I told the kids it's my fault. I should have done something better to get them ready. I take full responsibility for that. We did some things, but we just gotta. We had a chance to block it, and I'm just disappointed for the kids right now because they played the tails off, and my hat's off to Frisco. So did they. They stayed in the game with us, and we just got to come back next week and get ready to go.
Coach, we'll just let you go ahead and get back to your team. But you guys played a good game tonight, played hard, and any more comments you want to add to that?
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Saffo. And getting back to the district race, for all intents purposes, McKinney is eliminated from the playoffs. 3-3 their record. Frisco with the win goes to 4-2 in the district. McKinney North with their win goes to 4-2 in the district, and both of those teams hold tiebreakers over McKinney. And obviously Hebron, whether they won or lost tonight, it really doesn't matter. But last score we had was 10-7. Hebron was on top. We'll try to find you a final score on that. But McKinney North, hey, the crosstown rivals they're definitely in the driver's seat, and I think they actually clinched the playoffs tonight. And you got to be absolutely thrilled for your brother over there across the way as they clinch for the first time in their school history.
Yeah, I think ideally it would have been better if both could go to the playoffs, but at least one is still going. So, that's still something. But at the same time, after a game like this where you had control of it down to the very end, basically a good lucky pass, if you will, for Frisco got it for him, plus a good kick. I mean, there's not much you can do there.
I tell you what, I feel a lot like I felt last Sunday when the Cowboys got stung at the very end of the game, and I shouldn't have said anything, fearing jinx early on in the fourth quarter when I said that statement that it could come down to that. And I tell you what, speaking of this, last year it came down to the last 8 seconds of the game. This year it came down to the last 12. Yeah. Are these two teams more evenly matched? I mean, how could you possibly be more evenly matched in the past 2 years? This is absolutely incredible. 2 games, 2 years in a row, 2 absolute dominant finishes.
Yeah, and I think, aside from the obvious McKinney North, you got to think that this is one of McKinney's biggest rivals. I mean, even if you take it beyond the high school, if it's not too big of rivals of just cities, McKinney and Frisco themselves are basically a mirror image of each other, so that in there makes it in turn rivals. And we saw a lot of penalties for personal fouls after the play. I mean, it's just had all the makings and feel of a rivalry game. It really did.
Well, unfortunately for McKinney, they take it on the chin tonight in heartbreaking fashion. They led pretty much all of the fourth quarter, but taking on the chin with 12 seconds left to go, with a 27-yard Evan Coachman field goal that won the game for Frisco 16-15. Several chances to win the football game. The PATs came back and killed them once again. You've got to make your PATs. And McKinney wasn't able to do that. So 16-15, Frisco wins tonight. We're going to take a timeout and have stats and highlights for you in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.